We are back with 428 Shibuya Scramble. What are we gonna, who are we playing first? We can play Kano Minorikawa? I think that was the friend detective, right? That was the homeless guy. Osawa, Tama, and an Achi. What's the tier list? What are their hitboxes? Clearly Tama over here is top tier. Broken. I can't believe they haven't patched the game yet. You know, really, it's just the Tama meta, real, to be honest. Do the mascot character? All right, say less. It's so hot. Let's see. It's so hot in this thing. Way too hot. I feel like I'm sitting in a sauna. Everyone else on the street looks nice and cool. But here I am, getting treated to my very own personal midsummer heat wave. On top of that, I can barely see, barely breathe, and for that matter. But, hey, what can I do? So thirsty. Me too, man. Some iced tea would be amazing right now. Oh, the other thirsty. Gonna pass out from dehydration at this rate. May as well admit it. I underestimated how tough this would be. Who knew wearing a mascot costume would be so uncomfortable? A delicate young lady like myself has no business doing this sort of job. I suddenly have so much respect for those people on those superhero team shows. Like, can you imagine doing action scenes in something like this? I think that would be so fucking cool to be a fucking Power Ranger or some shit. Imagine you're the guy that is the common writer. Like, sure, they have the main guy doing like the face and everything, but you're the guy in the suit. Imagine that. That'd be so fucking fun. Apparently some of the suits are like really uncomfortable though. That's a lady? I guess so. Heck, all I'm doing is standing here and I'm this close to calling it quits. But I can't. I need the work. I need the money. This is no time to be a wuss. If I give up on this, what else am I possibly gonna do? Check out the revolutionary new diet drink, Burning Hammer. That sounds like a fucking fighting game move. I thrust a free sample toward passersby while shouting as loud as I can. Come on, give it a try. Oh, it's no use. The new energy drink, Burn in Hell. People just walk by one after the other. They avoid looking at the sample. It's been like this ever since I started standing here. What gives? You figure at least one person would have taken a bottle by now. I mean, it's free. I haven't even managed to give a single one away. But if this keeps up, there's no way I'm getting paid. And then this whole miserable experience would have been for nothing. Just drink this and watch the pounds melt away. No exercising or dieting necessary. I can hear the desperation in my own voice. Just burn those pounds away. They're giving me cold looks now. They'll probably think I'm some shyster trying to offload dodgy product, sorry. It's that simple, folks. You just drink the weight away. I guarantee it. This whole thing reeks of a scam to me too. Losing weight just by drinking some concoction is way too good to be true. But still, free is free. You'd think I'd be able to give one or two away. It's not like I'm not trying. Okay, pep talk time. You can do this. Think about the money. Just start with one bottle. All right, I'm gonna give this bottle away to the next person I see, no matter what. I close my eyes and gather my determination. And then my soul turns yellow. I just need to get started. And the momentum will build from there. All right, eyes open. There are two people walking my direction. Wait, two? I don't know, which one do I pick? If I keep waffling, they're both gonna pass me by. Just need to hand this bottle off. Which one of these guys look more likely to take it? Alright, chat, first choice of the day. Which one are we doing? Left or right? I'm sure it doesn't really matter because we're gonna have to come back and redo the choice anyway. So which one, left or right? First one who says something will get it. Kill them all. Huh? What? Huh? Ruin. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Immediately started talking about killing them. Should I be concerned that my chat, instead of making a choice, went to murder? I was trying to say bad mild indigestion to the diarrhea. That's while you're trying to kill a man. Pick a person. Someone left or right. Damn. Left. All right. Clutching the free sample in my furry fist, I try to force it off on the businessman to my left. Here you go, sir. A free sample of Burning Hammer, the latest and greatest diet drink. The businessman flashes me a look of utter contempt. It makes a point of avoiding me as he slips past. Bam. There goes the wind right out of my sails. Wonder how the other mascot is doing that about now. There's a sales demo happening today at 1 o'clock at the Nokane building. Huh? Looks like the chicken has handed out all the kinds of samples. I don't get it. How come no one has taken any of mine? What could I possibly be doing wrong? I look at the clock. It's a little after 11. My morning of wandering around hawking diet drinks is just about over. I'll need to get ready to head over to the sales demo. I'd love to take this costume off, but then I'd have to carry it. Samples I haven't given out are almost too heavy as is. Oh well. I might not have gotten any results, but I tried my best. I'm sure they don't withhold. I sure hope they don't withhold my pay or anything. Hey, what gives? You got that many left? The chicken speaks with a female voice. Yeah, I reply sheepishly. Nobody seems to want to take mine. Well, I mean, are you looking for the right targets? Huh? Like groups of girls or bored-looking older ladies. Those are the types you gotta be gunning for, you know. Wow, I hadn't even considered that. Now that she says it all seems so obvious. This is a diet drink after all. Of course I'm not gonna have any luck trying to force it off from random guys. Well, whatever, the chicken says. Here, give me the samples you've got left. I hand over my samples and the chicken dumps the whole lot into her basket. I'll drink whatever's left so they don't find out you didn't pass them out, she says. What? Wait, like all of them? Yeah, all of them. The chicken sounds pretty confident in herself. These may just be sample-sized bottles, but still they add up to a lot. I can feel myself on the brink of tears at the kindness of her offer. Thank you so much, this is a huge help. I bow deeply, which makes my mascot head wobble. Leaving the station behind, we head down Centergai towards the Nokane building. The Burning Hammer sales demo was going to be held there this afternoon. The job's supposed to pay 10,000 yen for the day, but if we can sell at least 100 bottles at the demo, they've promised another 10,000 on top of that. I need to make sure I sell those 100 bottles. I need that 20,000 yen, and I need that ASAP. We arrive at the Nokane building, a rundown multi-tenant office complex. We head into the room where the Burning Hammer sales demo is taking place. There are already about 50 seats set out. I wonder how many people the free samples will pull in. A stage has been set up at the far end of the room. That's where I'm going to be standing, sipping Burning Hammer while explaining the effects to its customers. Hurry up and take the thing off! The chicken flaps her wings as she speaks. It's kind of early, but come on, let's have lunch. I'm starving. Now that she mentions it, I realize I'm pretty hungry myself. The demo's not starting for another 2 hours. I can't win a war against my stomach for that long. The chicken and I head out to the waiting room where they've set out the lunches for us. Mind getting my back real quick? The chicken asks. She arches her back toward me. Apparently, she can't reach her own zipper. No, sure, just give me a sec. I try to unzip the back of the chicken suit, but my own suit's thick, fuzzy fingers have a hard time of it. What's the holdup? Come on, I'm roasting in this thing. Hurry up and get it off me. Almost got it, it's just awkward with these mitts. I get a hold of the zipper and yank it downward. Chicken and cat Yuri? Yep. A girl emerges from the chicken as if the egg... What? A girl emerges from the chicken as if the chicken itself were an egg. Oh, I'm alive! Her red sweatshirt is drenched in sweat. Almost the one she's kicking back and cooling off with her hand fan. I'm sorry, but would you mind getting me too? I ask. Yeah, okay. I turn my back to the girl. I hear metal clacking behind me. At long last, I'm about to be free of this 5-ton fursuit. Huh? The girl murmurs awkwardly. Huh, what? A spike of anxiety hits me. What's wrong, I ask. Yeah, that's a no-go. Zipper's busted. What? Yeah, sorry, this thing ain't coming off. What? My vision goes dark. Average for a convention thought, yeah. No, no, no! I tug desperately at the costume, but no luck. I'm trapped inside. Oh, what the shit? Oh, well. We can talk to the boss about it when he gets back, the girl says. I mean, it's not like we can't just cut it off you with scissors or anything. She sounds entirely unconcerned. It's so unfair. I need to get out of this stuffy, sweltering steam bath as soon as possible. All I can do is clench my fist in an improper rage. Forced to wear the suit until the end of the game. Yeah, I think the game is only 1 day long, so she's probably gonna be stuck in it all game, yeah. But anyway, good work out there today, the girl continues. I'm Chiriko Osugi, by the way. You can call me Chidi. She smiles as she introduces herself. I mean, I am a pretty cheery gal after all. She breaks into a hearty guffaw. Oh, sure, I say. It's nice to meet you. Dozo Hiroshiku. Yeah, for sure. So, I guess you're not gonna be able to eat lunch in that getup, huh? Huh? Ah, that's right. What should I do? Don't sweat it. Just leave it to me. Huh? I'll eat both lunches myself. Chidi doesn't even wait for me to reply before reaching for my lunch. It'd be a shame to let it go to waste, she says. She makes it sound like the leftover food is a bigger concern than my hunger. I can feel my appetite stirring all the more as she devours my meal with a satisfied grin on her face. What a bitch. A faint, pathetic gurgle rises from my belly. It's just a cheap little prepackaged lunch, but right now it looks like a feast. So what's your name? Chidi asks. Her cheeks are still packed with the rice. The cat's looking at the player like, look what I have to deal with. Do you see this shit? Surely they can just take off, like, it's not like attached to the mask, right? Like, even if she couldn't use her hands, she could take, like, the helmet part off. This feels like a meme template you would see in the 2010s. I think this game did originally come out in 2010. My name? Yeah. Oh, it's, as I struggle to think of an answer, my eyes alight on a piece of tamagoyaki clutched between Chidi's chopsticks. The yellow slab of lightly grilled egg wobbles to and fro. I can see it from I can see the inside from the way it's been sliced. It's somewhat undercooked. Come on, what's your name? Oh, right, Tama. It's Tama. Huh? You mean like the famous cat? Well, ain't that fitting. She retortles and stuffs the piece of tamagoyaki in her mouth and takes a big swig of iced tea. I am beyond jealous. I wish I could gorge myself on these lunchboxes until I'm full to bursting. Heck, even a cold glass of iced tea would be a lifesaver right now. I'm so thirsty, I'm starting to get all dizzy. Maybe I really am getting dehydrated. Seems like it was released on December 4th, 2008. Yeah. This isn't good. If I don't do something, I'm going to pass out before the sales demo even starts. And then I remember something. The zipper down my back might be busted, but I can still take off the head, right? That way I'd at least be able to eat and drink stuff. Alright. I decide to... I'm gonna ask Chiri. Chiri, can you help me take off the head? Ow! I feel a dull throbbing pain in the back of my head. I wonder how many people have died from heat stroke in the mascot costumes. More than 0. Like I bumped my head somewhere, but I don't really remember doing that recently. Chiri flashes me a curious look. What are you doing? She asks. I thought maybe I could at least get the head off. That ain't gonna work. That thing's attached to the body. I slump forward in defeat, face planting on the tabletop. No! Most folks would have noticed that when they put it on, you know. Well, I didn't. The boss helped me get into this thing. Well, don't let it get you down, Chiri says. Here, drink some of this. What do you mean, drink some of this, bitch? I can't get the mask off. Apparently, there was an iOS and Android release of this game back in 2011. So this is, you're telling me this is originally a mobile game, or it was just ported to mobile? No, it was, you said 2011, so it came out in 2008, so it was ported to mobile. Yeah. Chiri then stabs you for daring to ask for help. As she pulls a bottle with a straw from her bag and pours some of the tea into it. In a fever of thirst, I jam the plastic straw through the mascot costume's mouth. Thankfully, it reaches as far as my own. I suck for all I'm worth. Don't take that out of context. I suck and I suck, I suck. My body rejoices at the as the moisture returns to it, like rain coming to the desert. And thus I revive. Actually, it kind of does feel like I'm coming back to life. Oh, thank you so much. I'm never gonna forget this as long as I live. With tears welling up my eyes, I clutch Shira's hand in my fuzzy mitts. Nah, hey, I'm not the kind of person to abandon someone in need, you know, she replies. First it was a re-release, Wii release, then a PlayStation 3, and then PSP port, then mobile. I see. How come you're carrying this bottle around with you anyway, I ask. Oh, that's because I make my own protein juice. Protein juice? Never heard of it. I hear that if you have protein juice from one of your 3 meals a day, you'll lose weight. So, I don't really understand the whole entire, like, oh, if I do this thing, I'll lose weight. Because the way that losing weight works is that you have to have less calories. So you have to burn more calories than you're intaking. So that way you're at a deficit. And then your body burns the calories that you have stored. So the reason why a protein drink would work is because you're replacing one of your meals with the protein shake. So you're eating less calories altogether. That's the way that would work. Given Chiri's sort of, well, chubby frame, I don't think the protein's been working so great for her. I've been trying all sorts of stuff, but right now the protein is totally the best thing for my diet. Also, you have to stay consistent in what you're doing. Like, you can't just, if you're fluctuating your fucking diet like Chiri is for whatever reason, obviously you're not gonna lose weight. This stuff though, Chiri casts her eye on the samples of burning hammer on the table. It's like, totally bogus. Huh? Bogus? That's a surprise. Well, yeah, Chiri says. You gotta exercise if you want to burn body fat. She smacks herself on one flabby arm. I mean, there's no way you're gonna lose weight by taking in more calories. Didn't she just say she was drinking protein juice to lose weight? I'll keep that thought to myself. I mean, that'd be as ridiculous as all you can eat Kobe beef, she adds. She shakes her head seriously. I'm not sure about using all you can eat anything as an example in a discussion about weight loss. But again, I keep the thought to myself. But hey, a job's a job, Cherry says after a moment, cracking up again. They tell me to sell this junk and I sell it. A sudden wailing comes from the other side of the door. Please, just give me time. I swear I'll get it back to you. What the heck, Cherry says. Is that the boss? I nod. That's definitely Mr. Yanagashita's voice. He's the guy who hired me. Sidling up along Chiri, I very quietly open the door and take a peek inside. Reading more of the wiki, apparently this game had a lot of references to the previous game made in 1998, a sound novel game? Machi? I did say here that it was a like a spiritual successor. Mr. Yanagashita is down on his hands and knees, begging, while two uncouth-looking men glower at him. Just a little more time, that's all I ask, he pleads. Once I sell this stuff, I can pay you back. I see a tiny bottle of burning hammer in his hand. Just a little more, mimics the middle-aged fellow. I just gotta sell this. We've heard enough of that out of you. Yeah, the younger guy sneers. We ain't giving you any more time, so quit asking. But I really just need a little longer this time. Please, you gotta believe me. From the look of things, Mr. Yanagashita is dealing with some loan sharks. And the two thugs are clearly in no mood for his continued groveling. Apparently this game has a lot of high remarks looking at the reviews. As I said, when I saw this game on Steam for the summer sale, it had really good reviews. There was exactly one review that was bad, and it said no voice acting. Otherwise, the game is really well received, so I guess we'll see some shit go crazy, I guess. Chiri and I exchange a glance. It's probably best if we don't go out there right now. But now I'm really worried. Am I actually gonna get paid for this gig? As I'm pondering that, one of the men grabs Yanagashita by the nape of his neck and drags him off to his feet. Come with us, pal. We're gonna take you someplace you can work off your debts. Say what? Mr. Yanagashita wails. The two men drag him away. Come on, girl, you're not really stealthy with that costume of yours. Hey, she's stealthy as long as they don't see her. If you can play all of Metal Gear Solid with the chicken hat on, you can stealth with Tama. Huh. Guess he's gone then, Cherry says. She's already starting to pack up her things. Wait, what are you doing? I ask. Going home. Not much point in sticking around. Going home? I mean, the demo sure ain't happening now. Anyway, it was nice working with you. See ya. Moments later, Cherry is out the door. Now, what do I do? Excuse me. Isn't the chicken hat more of a penalty or something? Yes. I just got a notification for something you said in a watch-along chat on Discord. Discord is weird. Sometimes I get like pings for people messaging me, and then I go to check the message and it doesn't exist. I've been left here all by myself, more or less at a total loss. Neat. Poor freelance friend isn't gonna get paid now that those debt collectors showed up and dragged out her boss away. If a certain someone hadn't told the thugs how to get to the Nokane building, they probably wouldn't have called Yanagashita. The right decision happens at 11:15, but who has to make it? Okay. So I guess those first two choices didn't mean anything? Let's go with Minorikawa, sorry. The Super Club 90 raced down Route 246 toward Shibuya. What is this? A motorcycle. Oh, it's a motorcycle. Okay. I'm pretty sure the chicken hat is actually a buff. I think you get an easier mode. It's the debuff, the fact that you have to wear a chicken hat. Yes. Yeah. Why are you a chicken? You're supposed to be a snake. The speedometer remained at a steady 60 kph. Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as the bike would go. Minorikawa, who named you? Minorikawa, shouted as he sped along. Damn it, I am not letting you die! He jerked the handlebars and blew past the truck on the inside. The driver scowled at as he shot by. You maniac, you trying to get yourself killed? Just the opposite, Minorikawa shouted back. I'm saving lives! The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off at the intersection. Oh, come on! He had no choice but to slam on the brakes, but his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again. How long is this thing gonna stay red? Hurry up already! He brought the bike right up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster ready to peel out. Not on time is not in my dictionary. The light turned red. Then Minorikawa's own light turned green at last. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. His engine died with a sputter. Huh? Oh, come on. What the hell? Car's horns blared angrily at him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over to the side of the road. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Bad ending. Your engine died. Yes, I had so much control over that choice. Was the problem with the spark plug or maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have time to figure it out now. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike, his companion of 10 years, abandoned on the roadside. He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead letting out a passenger. He hurried to hop into the cab. Just head for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once you get closer. The taxi driver nodded coolly. Of course, sir. 10 minutes! I need you to get there in 10 minutes. The driver grimaced. I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit. 15 then! Sir, that's still... Look, that's all the time I can afford. Assuming traffic conditions cooperate, sir, then maybe. I can't make any promises. Minorikawa looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hachiro Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow. I was trying to see if I could read the thing. But the only character here I recognize is Hachi, because that's the same character for 8. Like the number 8. So you guys can't see my mouse. Never mind, forget it. I was gonna try to show you guys some Japanese, but there's no way I can actually like show you. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges. Mr. Kimizuka, I chose you for this. You can do it. Chose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance. Okay, sure, I suppose you could phrase it that way. Anyhow, can we get going? Right, Kimizuka said with a faint sigh. I'll see what I can do. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. I wish there was a character who only had bad endings. I don't think that's possible, because if you get a bad ending and you can only get bad endings, then it would be 2 endings. Minorikawa's frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. He'd been at home working on an interview piece. He clucked his tongue clucked? I think that was supposed to be clicked. He clicked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why does someone always have to call right when the words were flowing? If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he probably would wrap this piece up in no time. Rasaya! He pointed at the telephone as he yelled. I'm writing here! But the shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much of a choice but to pick up. I mean, you could just hit the end call button. Minorikawa was speaking. There was no response. Hello? He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this a prank call? It's me. It's Toyama. It was Teruo Toyama, the president of Heaven Publishing. Oh, what do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full. He'd taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately, he'd been turning them down a lot, so he hadn't heard from Toyama in a while. No, this isn't work-related. What do you want? I'm kind of pressed for time here. I'm working on some copy. Minorikawa was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this. You're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer. Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minorikawa found it off-putting. I hear sales have been pretty good on your end, he said cautiously. With this month's 4-Star General Gossip and all. 4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. It had a small circulation and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while they land some big scoop and sell like crazy. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that had moved 100,000 copies with ease. 5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it? Minorikawa asked. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver. Baffled, Minorikawa listened more closely. It came again. Then again. Then again. Then again? I don't know why I said it like a British person. Then again? It kind of sounded like sobbing. Mr. Toyama? Are you crying? There was another soft sob, and then yet another. What's going on? Where are you? Minorikawa asked. At the office, Toyama managed. He let another kneeling whimper. What's the matter? It's nothing. Well, it's gotta be something. Come on, what is it? Toyama gave no reply. Mr. Toyama, you still there? Silence. What is it? What happened? Look, doesn't tell me anything. What the hell's going on? Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine. Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now. Minorikawa was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur. The only thing I can do now is die. The taxi lurched to a sudden stop as the driver slammed on the brakes. Minorikawa pitched forward, his face smacking against the back of the seat in front of him. Kimizuka stuck his head out of the window. Careful, buddy, he shouted at someone in the street ahead. You're gonna get yourself killed. Minorikawa blinked. Oh, that's the cop guy. Minorikawa blinked the stars from his eyes and saw a man moving alongside the cab. The guy grabbed onto the handle of the back of the door. Please, I need you to let me have this cab. No way, Minorikawa snapped. Just who did this guy think he was? Please, I'm begging you here. Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab. I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please, this is really, really urgent. Urgent? Yes, it's a matter of life and death. The guy did look pretty desperate. Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here too. Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here. The guy sure was persistent. Maybe he was telling the truth. But Minorikawa had problems of his own. Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end, too. I gotta look after me and mine. Right. So sorry to trouble you. Finally, the guy gave up and shuffled away. Guess it couldn't have been that much of a life-ending crisis after all. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. Damn it. It just cost us 5 minutes. I'll try to make it up, sir, the driver called back. The taxi lurched into motion, the engine quickly revving up to speed. I saw an ad for a goldfish that had a girl as a guy. If he just liked the post of hers from 3 years ago, why is it so bad to like old Instagram posts? What are you talking about? Once inside the building, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Whoa! The sight he stepped into the office filled him with horror. Minorikawa clutched the sides of his head. I'm too late. Oh no. If only I got in here a little sooner. Alright, so we need to stop what's his face from stopping the car. Minorikawa rushed to Heaven Publishing as fast as he could, but he didn't get there in time to save Toyama, and sad to say, it was really all Kano's fault. Why does Kano want a taxi so badly? Check his 1110 timestamp and the situation will become clearer. I gently opened the door. Now we go through Kano's timeline and that guy doesn't exist. Alright, well, here goes. As he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Remember, this is the cop guy, right? So he, last time we saw him, he got the shit beat out of him with the book. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, oh no, last time we saw him, he was trying to capture the guy with the briefcase. He tossed the briefcase off to the guy on the bike sped off and he lost the white dude. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who'd thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kano prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He followed the culprit as fast as the alleyways, but there he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Kuse's voice crackled through the earpiece. Mobile Command Center calling all units. The suspect is on a motorcycle and handed off the case to an accomplice in Miyashita Park, another foreigner. How did they know he was a foreigner? He's wearing a bike helmet. I like how they act like you picked him for a fighting game. It is funny. So I wouldn't say timeline is more or less a divergent event that doesn't exist anymore and progress forward until another divergent. That sentence desperately needs some commas. For real? Kano muttered. For real? One thing immediately struck him as strange. Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike? The man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. We retrieved the man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. We retrieved the bike and ran the plate, but we determined it was a stolen vehicle. We still don't have enough details to possibly ID the suspect. The suspect now carrying the attaché case is heading towards Dogenzaka, also on foot. We've got him under observation. Dogenzaka, huh? That wasn't too far from where Kano was now. Looks like we're dealing with the foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. All units head to Dogenzaka, but do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the suspect with the case. Let's see where he goes. Kano nodded to himself without Without knowing more about the Crook's ML, letting this guy go for now was probably the right call. I just want you all to know one last thing, because his tone grew more solemn. Whatever happens, I know I can count on each and every one of you. Don't disappoint me. Over and out. Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him. Right now, it's now or never. The sudden appearance of the syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. Kano pulled his cell phone out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while he was working a case. Maybe it was an emergency? He decided to pick up. Rumi? I'm sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now? Kinda. Is this an emergency? Well, yeah. So, I'm in Shibuya right now and... Shibuya? Why does she have to be in Shibuya now of all times? So, my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden? What? Rumi's father, Shizuo, had been staunchly opposed to them getting married. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had never even deigned to meet him. Yeah, he told me to tell you he wants to meet with you. What, now? Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he intended. I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait. This can't be happening, Kano whimpered to himself. I'm sorry, I know he can be demanding. That's not the issue. Dad's offering to wait made him harder for him to refuse. All right, Kano said, but I'll have to call you back later, okay? I really am sorry. I'll be at the cafe called... I'm gonna guess Lautrec. It's probably French, but I'm gonna say Lautrec. It's by the train station. Rumi hung up. For a long moment, Kano stood in a daze staring at his phone, as if keeping up with the case wasn't stressful enough. At last, he stumbled into motion, but even as he scoured Dogenzaka for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixed on the meeting with Rumi's dad. There's no way of knowing when he'd be done with his case or with his casework today. But could he really pass up on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? Maybe he could slip away just for a bit. There were plenty of detectives still tailing the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizuo wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? This is my big chance. No, listen. You are a police officer. You have a duty to the citizens and to that girl who is kidnapped. Besides, it's not her father's choice to marry you. It's her choice. She wants to marry you, it'll be okay. I didn't know commercials were allowed to lie. All commercials lie. Burger King commercial just said that people think the Whopper is the best burger in America. No, right now I've got a job to focus on. Kano shook his head to clear out the foolish impulses. What the hell has he been thinking? The girl's life is on the line. Marrying Rumi was more important to him than anything, but now wasn't the time. Besides, now that he thought about it, running out on a critical investigation to meet with an old man probably wasn't scoring many points. Rumi's dad didn't strike him as someone who would approve of shirking one's responsibilities. Kano would just have to wrap up this kidnapping case a little ahead of schedule. Then he could have the proper sit-down with Shizuo. As he considered his plan, he caught sight of the man with the attaché case walking by. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction the perp was heading, let me try that again, but slower. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction the perp was heading, was the Yamanote Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with a getaway car? No, wait, hold on. Man, if the abandoned girl who is actively being kidnapped to meet with some girl's dad choice is the correct choice, well, that just means we can't take the game as seriously as we think we should be. I mean, this is Spike Chunsoft, right? From everything that I've seen, a lot of their stuff is objectively silly. I mean, they're known for a game in which high schoolers kill other high schoolers that's being orchestrated by a cartoon bear. If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't headed toward the Yamate Dori, sorry. He wasn't headed towards Yamate Dori or Route 246 at all, but back toward Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? They're starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless. Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore. That's not your call to make. Keep watching. Sir, this is a waste of time. That girl might be in danger if... Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man hand off the attaché case to yet another foreigner. Again? How many times are these criminals going to pull on this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of the men. Kano followed the man with the attaché case, who eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Rumi and Shizuo should be waiting at the nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called Lautrec. He kept his eye out for their place by the name as he tailed the target. You know how much Japan hates foreigners? Well, that's okay, we still love Japan anyway. Well, it's not okay. You know, whatever. I'm making that much more complicated than it actually is. Before long, he did spot the cafe. A large plate glass window offered a view of the cozy interior. The sign out front read, Lautrec. It looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. Is Lautrec actually, is that the actual name of that coffee place that LeBlanc was made after? He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him. So the man seated across from her must be her father. Kano realized he'd never seen a picture of him. Shizuo grew organic produce in Nagano nowadays, but until 2 years ago, he'd been a detective with the investigation division. Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career and always spoke quite highly of him. Kano had figured that if he became a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that led him to join the force. That's a really bad reason to join the police force. He had also figured that public servants could stay afloat even in times of recession, and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Once he was a policeman, he thought he could approach Shizuo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizuo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he'd made the decision. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizuo for permission to marry her, but the only response he ever got was, "I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop." Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place, and now the chance to meet Shizuo face to face had finally come. He peered intently into the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with a grim expression. Just who was this hard-faced fellow? It took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little Rumi's father? The prospect of meeting with him later filled Kano with sudden dread. I wonder how many Persona fanboys go to that place where LeBlanc is and annoy the owner. I hope they don't. I'm pretty positive they made like a unspoken rule to not go to that place and do specifically that. I think Japan actually has a rule where you can't go over there and do that. The man went into the JR Shibuya station and stood before the ticket machine. It looked like he was planning on boarding a train. A scene from the popular movie about the kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind, where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out the window of the train. What if this guy managed to get outside the dragnet and pull a stunt like that? It looks like the suspect is going to board the train. Kano informed Kuze over the wireless. Make sure you stay on his tail. Apparently Kuze still wanted to string the perp along for a bit. We've got the lizards ready to pursue. Lizards? Japanese police lingo for motorcycle squads deployed to pursue suspects in urban settings. That's pretty fucking cool, actually. We'll reestablish a dragnet around whatever station he gets off at. The man purchased a ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There is no way to tell what station he bought a ticket for, but it looked like he was headed clockwise along the Yamanote line loop. Kano used the prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well. An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train. Not ideal. There's no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped on board. Kano followed. Trains on the Yamanote line didn't stop for long, and soon they were on their way. Glancing around, Kano noticed other MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano more. A man in a gaudy necktie walked past Kano talking on a cell phone. Yes, everything's going fine on this end, he said. There's no need to worry. In his other hand, he carried the same. Apparently that's super rude in Japan. So that's definitely gonna strike as odd. In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were trailing. He headed right toward the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect. Well, now that's not suspicious. Kano leaned his head subtly, straining to make out what he could of the phone conversation at the other end of the car. Yes, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread. 225? That was police jargon for kidnapping. Was this guy in cahoots with the kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned an attaché case swap. Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. What's rude? Talking on your phone inside a train. You're also supposed to, like, if you're wearing like a backpack or something, when you go to get on a train, you're supposed to put it on your front so that way you don't bump into people accidentally. I'm at 99 out of 100 stream streak, and on my phone, the stream streak is actively poking the box I typed for chat. I'm not sure why you guys use Twitch on mobile, because Twitch on mobile sucks ass. But rather than make contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strolled back the way he'd come. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all. Yes. Right. Right. Uh-huh. 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 Understood. Kano stole a glimpse of the man's face as he passed. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to look away nonchalantly. But his anxiety got the better of him, and after a moment he turned his gaze right back. Soon the two men were locked in a staring contest. My apologies, the man said. He shut his phone with a click. I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency. The man affected a smile and then headed to the car from which he'd come. Sheesh. Guess I overreacted. You gotta stop staring at everyone, an oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear. Blend in your surroundings more. Sasayama? When'd you get here? His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. The steely expression on his face was at odds with the anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. Santa Claus, Yakuza member, Japanese folk singer, and a Buddhist priest to name a few, but this was a new extreme even for him. Ew, a fucking sweaty nerd? I can't believe you dress up as that. I'm upstairs waiting for my dad to come home, so I'm forced to use the phone. If I was in my room, I'd use my laptop. I don't understand what that has to do with the other thing. The fuck is that fit? It would be fine without the backpack. Not necessarily good, but it would be fine. The backpack makes it cut weird. When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costume antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits, but lately his quirk had become tedious. Concentrate, keep your eyes peeled. Sasayama gave Kano a pat on the back on the backside and slipped away into the next car. The suspect, meanwhile, was still staring out the window. The announcer's electronic voice filled the train compartment. Next stop, Harajuku. Next stop, Harajuku. Huh? Kano almost cried out. The suspect was moving toward the exit door. Apparently, he was only taking the train one station down the line. The train pulled into Harajuku station, and the man got off. I want to go to Harajuku. The detectives following him disembarked accordingly. The suspect walked along the platform and took a seat on an empty bench. Was he checking to see if he had a tail? Sticking around on the platform at the station where you just got off was pretty unusual behavior. Not wanting to arouse the man's suspicion, the investigations from MPD made their way down the station stairs as inconspicuously as possible. Kano, however, had a sudden inspiration and went to speak with one of the station attendants. Sorry to bother you, but I think I left something on the train just now. I tried to keep an eye on the man on the bench as he fed his story to the attendant. The suspect sat silently on the bench, attaché case clutched securely in his arms. He didn't really look like he was checking for a tail. Was he waiting for someone else then? Before long, a train heading counterclockwise around the loop arrived. The man rose from the bench and stepped up to the boarding area. Wait, what the fuck? If this guy's going to the counterclockwise train, wouldn't that just take him right back to Shibuya Station? The man boarded the train. Kano had no choice but to follow suit. Was this guy playing them? The suspect got off again once the train reached Shibuya. All he done was go to Harajuku and come right back. Kano reported it into Kuzai. The suspect has returned to Shibuya Station. Acknowledged. Keep trailing him. Kano felt himself growing increasingly paranoid. The criminal organization didn't seem too keen on getting away. And here was HQ giving these guys free rein. Something was off. He was sure of that. As he tailed the mark, Kano took out his phone. What were Tatano's instincts about this case right now? If the senior detective had any advice, Kano would love to hear it. He dialed Tatano's number. The line rang a few times, but nobody picked up. Probably he was too busy seeing to Hitomi's safety. Kano felt bewildered. They've been letting the suspect lead them around for over an hour now. During an abduction case, you generally didn't update the victim's family on any developments in the case. During an abduction case, you generally didn't update the victim's family on any developments in case they tried to interfere. Kano could only imagine what the Osawa family was going through right now. After a short walk from Shibuya Station, the attaché case was handed off yet again. Black dude! This time, the recipient was a tall, dark-skinned man. Again, the Shibuya-based task force split into two groups in order to tail both suspects. Kano stuck with the man who had the case. As the previous man had done, the newest suspect wandered around Dogenzaka for a while, repeatedly looping around and around the same locations was a weirdly roundabout way to make a series of handoffs. Excuse me, detective. Connell turned around with a start. Oh, hey, he said. I know you. He was Leland Palmer, the lecturer who had been an eyewitness to the kidnapping. The man particularly radiated concern. How's Marina doing? Is she all right? I am very, worried for her. His Japanese was more halting now. Her heart is with her family. Kano gave a quick look around. It didn't appear that they were being watched. I don't know what to do here. Surely we fuck off, right? We just keep doing our job. So like the consistency right now is that they're being all of the cases are being handed off to foreigners. So there's a non-zero chance that this guy is in on it. Surely we fuck off, right? What do you guys think, chat? Fuck off? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Batra, you want to say anything, or I'm gonna be stuck in the zone, baby. What a problem, cut down, find us wine to help me buzz off. Sorry, I was doing something. Yeah, so the guy who was with the other lady, Batra was in the shadow one, the other twin, found us and started talking to us, and he's talking to us during our tailing. So the options are we can talk to him and try to find more clues, or we can like try to keep following the other guy. And I think we keep following the other guy because there's a non-zero chance this guy is in on it. Because the consistency so far is that all the people that have been handed off the attaché case, yeah, you agree? And all the people that handed off the attaché case are foreigners. So I think we leave. Leland, I'm sorry, but at this stage I can't share any details. Is that so? Oh yes, of course. Leland cast his eyes down and hung his head. Please don't worry though. You're still hard at work investigating. Yes. Thank you very much. With that, Connell turned away from the lecturer and went back to tailing the suspect. You really riding that joke? Batra has the Millennium Ring and this is Yami Batra. Fucking the Millennium Ring. He pulled out his phone from his pocket. It was Rumi again. It was weird that she called twice when she knew he was in the middle of something important. Had something happened while she was waiting at the cafe at Chizuo? Kano picked up hurriedly. What's the matter? What's the matter? You know what the matter is. Rather than Rumi's soft soprano, it was the threatening masculine voice that came over the phone. Oh, let me try that again. What's the matter? You know what the matter is. Uh-oh. Kano felt his whole body stiffen with dread. Is this my father-in-law speaking? Don't remember being anyone's father-in-law. The speaker's tone was firm and flat. No, I know. I just, kind of found himself at a loss for words. So you aren't dating my daughter, huh? Sir, yes, sir. Connell barely squeaked out his reply. Thinking about getting married? Yes, sir. And speaking of which, I'd love the chance to sit down with you and have a nice long... Then how long are you gonna keep me waiting? Hurry up and get your ass over here. How very much Kano wished he could do exactly that. Sir, I would, but forget it. The words came in an angry huff. You can't have her. Goodbye. What? Sir, please wait. As Kano cried in desperation, he heard Rumi's voice on the other end of the line. Dad, you can't just use my phone like that. You were taking too long in the bathroom. Give it back. Rumi? Kano tried and failed to keep the heartbreak out of his voice. Sweetie, what's wrong? Your father just said he doesn't want us getting married. What? Dad! What did you say to my boyfriend? Listen to you, calling that boy little pet names and whatnot. I think you're a little too attached. Daddy, you haven't even met him. That's why I told you to have him come see me. How long is he gonna make me wait? Kind of listened to the two argue on the other end of the phone. The phone must be lying somewhere between them. Could this get any more awkward? Rumi, I'm sorry, Kano shuddered apologetically into the mouthpiece. This is all my fault. Please, you don't have to fight like this. The phone clattered as Rumi scrambled to bring it to her cheek. No, I'm the one who should be sorry. Sorry for what? It was Shizuo again, grumbling in the background. You have nothing to apologize for. I'll deal with my father, Rumi said hastily. You just focus on work, sweetie. I know you're in the middle of something really important. Thanks, Rumi. Kano was legitimately touched. I'll do my best. Sir, I'm sorry, but I'm actively on a case about a girl getting kidnapped. Yeah, no, not only is he being like incredibly, what's the word? Not reckless. He's being, demanding. He's being incredibly demanding by having this meetup last second short notice. On top of the fact that he knows he's a cop. On top of the fact that he has no idea, like, he's being ridiculous. Like, I can't believe you're not gonna stop all your work in the middle of a kidnapping saying, come talk to me. Like, be for real, man. You didn't set up a date or anything. I'm not prepared for this. You just showed up one day. Kano hung up and went back to the task at hand, more determined than ever. For Rumi's sake, not to mention the victims, he needed to focus on cracking this case. The man he was tailing was walking several meters ahead. There was no telling when Kuze might give the arrest order. Kano braced himself to spring into action the very instant the order came down. Mobile command to all units. Once more the director's voice came in over the wireless. Was it time to make the arrest at last? We've identified the man who first picked up the attaché case by the statue of Hachiko. No arrest yet then, but still a crucial development. His name is Tariq Al-Karawan. That is not that man's name. He's got priors for larceny, illegal possession of narcotics, you name it. He belongs to a foreign criminal syndicate that's operating in Shibuya. Kano felt his apprehension rising. If this syndicate was behind the kidnapping, they were anything but amateurs. And though they might be leading the place on a wild goose chase, they certainly weren't playing around. All right, we got to an ending. That doesn't mean we did everything correctly, but we did get to an ending. Should we go? I think we should go back to the other guy, right? Was it Osawa? I think it was Osawa. It was not Osawa. Kano. Minorikawa. There it is. So he doesn't stop him now. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the recording so we can get to something new. And we're back. Now that Kano has not stopped the cab, we're here. I'm fine with the story, still interested in how it ends, I guess. Yeah. There we go. 10 minutes on the dot, the driver announced. Minorikawa righted himself and looked out the window, Shibuya Station. I know you can do it, Mr. Kimizuka. He told the driver how to get to Heaven's Publishing. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes further. Sir, if I may, just what are you in such a hurry for? Son of a bitch. I beg your pardon? Kimizuka bristled. Not you, the guy who's waiting on me, Minorikawa said. I'm gonna give that son of a bitch a piece of my mind. The multi-tenanted building where Heaven Publishing had its offices came into view. The taxi stopped outside. Minorikawa opened the door as he hurriedly reached for his wallet. Then he stopped. What if the worst had come to pass and he needed to take Toyama to a hospital? Should he have had the taxi wait here, or would it be better to call an ambulance? Sir, is there a problem? The driver asked. Wait here, I'll be right back. Minorikawa was out of the cab in an instant and running for the building. Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the third and fourth floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of the 4-star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Whoa! Toyama was standing on a stool, about to slip his head through the noose that hung from the ceiling. What the hell are you doing? Minorikawa lunged for Toyama. The two men crashed on the floor in a tangled heap. A pile of clutter slid off a nearby desk and fell on top of them. Minorikawa, what are you doing? Toyama whined. Dragging himself back up to his feet proved something of a challenge. That's what I'd like to know? Minorikawa's fury was mounting. What the hell is all this about? He jabbed an accusing finger at the noose and hanging from the ceiling. Oh, that. One of the fluorescent lights has died. Now I'm just swapping it out. Don't you feed me that bull. What was that phone call all about? That business about the only thing you could do was die. Tell me. It's just a joke. Toyama curled his lips into a faint semblance of a smile. Minorikawa wasn't buying it, but he didn't have time to press the issue. A cute little voice echoed through the editing office. Daddy, I'm back from the store. A little girl came walking in, carrying a length of rubber gas tubing. It was Toyama's 5th grade daughter, Hana. Minorikawa stared. Toyama, you were planning on using that news hose to... He hesitated to end the sentence with gas yourself to death. Well, you know, it's almost gas heater season after all. The hell it is! It was a beautiful sunny April day outside. Well, you know how sensitive I am to the cold. This was getting truly ridiculous. Minorikawa got right up in his face. Listen, just explain to me what the heck is going on, okay? He kept his voice low, but his eyes were steely. Hana clung tightly to her father, gazing worriedly up at the two men. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. Oh, okay. All right. Sometimes jump keywords might be hitting on a tip. A man named Junichi Yanagishita shows up in Tama's story at 11:20. And he lets out a sigh like Toyama's. Try checking out the tip for that sigh. So it's in Tama's story? I'm gonna go with the same choice we made. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna pause the recording again to see if we can get to something new. Hold on. Alright, so Tama's ending is still the same ending where the guy gets jumped by the Yakuza guys. So in order to continue going, We have to play Osawa, I'm pretty sure. Wealth, status, honor. Bitches. The four nations lived in harmony. None of these mean anything to me. All I want is a peaceful life. My name is Kira Yoshikage. To put worry behind me, to stay calm and serene. To be free of worldly concerns. Free at any cost. What the fuck? A cheery rhythm pumped from the CD player set up against the study wall. It was the latest hit from Aya Kamiki, the song... Sorry, I had a flashback to Jimmy Ken, the songwriter sensation who was blowing up the pop charts. Kenji Osawa reached for the stereo remote on his desktop. Hit the like button because we just got demonetized. He ratcheted up the volume a little louder. He looked like the sort of man who'd be more interested in classical music, but in fact he was a huge fan of the girl rock popular with middle schoolers. That's a weird thing for you to say to me. Closing his eyes, he swayed back and forth in time with the music. Then again, I'm almost 30 and my favorite song is Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, so... Humming his favorite lyrics under his breath. But his moments faltered. It's no use. His movements faltered. Aya's voice unusually soothed whatever ailed him, but today, even she couldn't help. Today, Osawa was a complete wreck in both body and mind. Mounds of paperwork were scattered across the desktop in his study. All of it about viruses and vaccines. Oh shit, he's going through COVID 20 years early. It had only been a week since he had returned from a business trip to his company's branch office in the US, and he was slated to go back in another week's time. There was truly a staggering amount of work he needed to get through while he was at home. Reading is hard. He picked up one of the papers, glanced at it aimlessly, and then tossed it back onto the desk. Slumping back in his chair, he let out a long, deep sigh. He was in no mental state for work right now. A faint knock at the door barely roused him from his torpor. "Director, may I come in?" It was his vice director, Mamoru Tanaka. "Sure, door's open." Tanaka came into the study. I know it's not a great time, but Osawa could barely make out his words. He tapped the remote, lowering the volume of the music. Tanaka continued apologetically. "A call came in from the lab. They're hoping for a response to the email they sent yesterday." "I'm sure they don't need it today." "Apparently they do need an answer as soon as possible, sir. I did ask them to give you some more time, but..." "I see," Osawa said wearily. "Alright then." Tanaka dipped his head slightly and slipped out of the room. Osawa contemplated his colleague. Tanaka was a man he could truly depend on. He has enough of his own work to do. He didn't need to come here again today, but he did. They've been working in close concert ever since Osawa had gotten back from Japan. Within Tanaka's support, there was no way he would be in a mindset to do any work at all right now. Sidling up to his computer, Osawa opened his email program and started answering the work-related messages. He reported on his business travel expenses, offered his opinions on capital investments, requested confirmation on current medicinal stockpiles. He worked with the Bleak Detachment. None of this meant anything to him right now. A new email appeared in his inbox. The sender was identified simply as A. The subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. The message body was blank, but there appeared to be multiple images attached. Ordinarily, Osawa would have deleted a message like this immediately, assuming it contained some kind of virus. But the words South Africa drew his attention. Could this possibly be related to... He couldn't help but wonder. For a long moment, he hovered the cursor over one of the image files. At last, as if spurred on by upbeat rhythm in his ears, he double-clicked the mouse. What is this? The grainy photograph showed a large room with a dozen or so people laid out in beds. It appeared to be some sort of medicinal ward. Osawa felt a strange flutter in his chest. He quickly opened another image. This one showed a close-up of one of the patients in his bed. Large red blotches covered his face. A large volume of blood appeared to be dripping from his ears and nostrils. A cold shudder ran up Osawa's spine. What the hell? These symptoms. Osawa opened the remaining image files. Each new picture showed another of the patients. They all appeared to be teetering on the brink of death. There was no doubt about it. These people were infected with the Uwa virus? Uwa virus. The Uwa virus belonged to the family Filoviridae genus. I'm not even gonna try. It is a member of the same family as the Ebola virus and causes Uwa virus fulminant hemorrhagic fever. It is capable of airborne transmission, although an infected individual cannot pass on the infected before symptoms manifest. The U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, have assigned the virus to Risk Group 4, their classification for the most dangerous infectious agents. The Rona! It's the Ebola, actually. But how? Questions tumbled through Osawa's mind. His fingers tapped out a quick message. He doubted he'd get a ringing response, but he might as well try. Who are you? Where are these images from? The Uwa virus got its name from a Swahili word for flower. Supposedly, this is my government name is actually a Swahili word. Supposedly, this is based on the fact that the propagated form of the virus resembled the petals of a flower. Despite the flowery name, however, the disease was anything but pretty. Uwa didn't mean flower, but it also meant to kill. And as the name suggested, the virus had a mortality rate of 100% in those whom it managed to infect. Moreover, there was a very short incubation period between infection, the onset of simple symptoms, and death. Okay, no, he's just going to tell me, explain what onset of symptoms even means. Within roughly 12 hours, bleeding would set in throughout the body, everywhere but the bones and muscles, with lethal results. Due to its incredibly high mortality rate, the disease's very existence had been kept hidden from public knowledge. Osawa's computer chimed to signify the arrival of a new email. The sender was A. He hurried to open the message. Once again, the subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. Your crimes. Osawa stared at those two words. My crimes? That left him only with further questions. He looked again at the images from the previous email. What makes any of this my crimes? He could see that the patient's bleeding was severe. He estimated that several hours had passed since the onset of the disease. It wouldn't be long before their lives were cut short. To feel that agony, that suffering, and then to perish. Am I to blame for that? Another faint knock came at the door. Darling, do you have a moment? It was his wife, I. Give me just a second. Osawa hurriedly closed the program. Even if it was nothing more than some sick prank, it wasn't anything he wanted his family to see. Especially not I. All right, come in. But Osawa turned to see I had already let herself into the study. The sharp sting of her perfume made him scrunch up his face for a moment. Have you reconsidered the whole America thing? She asked. This again? Osawa thought suddenly to himself. Please, he said. Can we not discuss this right now? If not now, then when? You know this isn't a decision to make. You know this isn't a decision just make on your own. On his latest business trip, a major American pharmaceutical firm had attempted to headhunt him, asking to join them and be among the top researchers in the world. The money and prestige held no interest for him, and he was reluctant to turn his back on Okoshi Pharmaceutical after many years of service. The wait for my dad was worth it because we got Mexican food, but I don't understand why you had to be on your phone because your dad wasn't home. Nonetheless, he was intrigued by the offer. It would mean the chance to conduct his virus research in a much better funded environment. Taking the job would necessitate relocating to the US, however. When he mentioned the possibility of immigrating to I almost said AI, she'd shot down the idea on the spot. Her opposition was understandable. Ai's father, Suguru Makino, was a member of Okoshi Pharmaceuticals' boards of directors. No way he's going to let Osawa jump ship to another company. Darling, please. I grew in closer to him. Think about it from my perspective. If you leave for America, what am I supposed to tell my father? He gotten used to it. That grating whine of hers. Easy! 611 Daisuke, thank you for the follow. Because I don't want to bring my laptop upstairs, only bring it downstairs 20 minutes later. Also, the fact that I can use my headphones to listen to stream without them hearing it. What, you don't, do they not like the fact that I say shit, fuck, ass, cock, motherfucker? Just connect your headphones to the laptop, man. Have you considered what might happen to Okoshi if you leave, dear? We can discuss this once this is finished. Osawa kept his voice as level as he could. You do remember that you're a director, right? I said. You have responsibilities. Stop thinking about yourself so much. With a sour look, I turned and departed. Well, he had known that moving to America would never be a simple matter, regardless of what his wife thought about it. There was another reason, however, the antiviral agent that he had developed at Okoshi. After the Ua virus was discovered, infectious disease research facilities the worldwide had thrown themselves into a top secret effort to develop a vaccine. I know what a vaccine is. It said like sometimes the hints are checked or like in the tips, and so now I'm worried that I'm gonna miss stuff, so now I'm clicking everyone to make sure. But Makino had ordered Osawa to work on creating an antiviral agent, not a vaccine. A vaccine immunized the subject in order to prevent infection in the first place. Conversely, an antiviral agent could be used to treat patients already infected. It was a so-called wonder drug for combating the virus itself. Creating such a drug was far easier said than done. Developing the antiviral had been a long, arduous road. Only after years of research had Osawa's team succeeded in identifying a substance that might qualify as an antiviral agent for Ua. In theory, it was administered during the virus's initial stages. 100% recovery could be attained. Data also suggests that an 80% survival rate for patients treated shortly after the onset of symptoms. But there was a fatal flaw with the new antiviral agent. The side effects on the body were unusually potent. If it was administered in amounts beyond a certain threshold, it was linked to life-threatening complications. For a time, the research was at an impasse. It had seemed that the drug had to be administered in high volume to combat the explosive propagation of the Ua virus. But then Osawa had received some fortuitous news. Also, the best side ever invented is Mexican rice. The shit is so good. Nope, it is it is fried plantains. That is the best side ever invented. Okoshi Pharmaceuticals nanotechnology branch is the engineer of cutting-edge device known as the DDS, acronym from Drug Delivery System. Got it. Actually, no, the best side ever made is garlic bread. Garlic bread is pretty good, but I'm still going with fried plantains. Osawa had jumped on it immediately by administering his antiviral agent with the nanotech DDS. He was able to use smaller amounts of the drug to quash the UA virus with precision. Because DDS can be used to deliver a drug with pinpoint precision and only where it is needed, it can greatly reduce the side effects of even very potent drugs. The DDS developed by Okoshi Pharmaceuticals utilizes advanced high-tech polymers, which ensure that the capsules containing the drug are fully broken down and eliminated from the body roughly 1 week after administration. The procedure was a huge success. I don't think I've ever had fried plantains. They're good. They're some of the best food just ever made. I don't really know how to explain it to you because the texture is like a banana, but it's not a banana. It doesn't taste like a banana though. There was a marked increase in the drug's efficacy, along with expected decrease in adverse side effects. The effects have been confirmed via animal testing and on monkeys, and now the antiviral was ready for the final development stages, clinical trials on humans. The very existence of this new wonder drug was still secret. No doubt Okoshi's leadership would be reluctant to see Osawa, the drug's lead researcher, transfer to another company. Still, it wasn't completely outside the realm of possibility. Once the antiviral was out of development and announced to the public, Osawa would be free and clear. For that very reason, he was loath to cause any friction over the drug right now. This anxiety only magnified his concern about the email he just received. What kind of food is usually served with fried plantains? Anything like island-like, if that made like, or like not Colombian, Creole, Jamaican food, that kind of thing. Caribbean food. Caribbean food is usually what you're going for. I know Mexicans also have fried plantains, so Mexican food also goes with it. Osawa called Tanaka over the intercom. Called up Tanaka, excuse me. There's something I want to show you. Could you come in here? He needed a second opinion, and Tanaka could be relied upon. Osawa opened the door the moment Tanaka knocked. He looked around before ushering his vice director inside. What's this about, sir? This. Osawa showed him one of the images. Tanaka's face went pale. Can't be. Tanaka clearly recognized the symptoms of the UA virus. Any idea what this is about? Osawa asked. No, sir. These images were just emailed to me. The subject line says, 1 year ago, South Africa. That would put it around the same time as most of the recent round of infections, wouldn't it, sir? But that information isn't... Tanaka trailed off. Osawa nodded. The thing I don't understand is why these pictures were sent to me. Osawa opened the other email from A. The second message I got says said these pictures are my crimes. I'll look into it on my end, sir, Tanaka said. He hesitated uncomfortably. Sir, just to make sure, Are you asking about what I think you're asking about? Osawa said. Tanaka gave a slight nod. Understood, Osawa said. Don't worry, I won't trouble you. I appreciate that, sir. Visibly relieved, Tanaka left the study. Osawa brought up a folder marked UA virus on his screen. Within the folder were enlarged images of the virus itself. He double-clicked on one of the images. It blew up on the monitor to reveal the pathogen in intricate detail. A specimen of the UA virus was approximately 100 nanometers in diameter, 10,000 of them in line would make up barely a millimeter, but a single tiny virion upon entering a human body could become 2,000 in an hour. Jesus Christ. And that speed of multiplication was nothing short of astonishing. Even the Ebola virus had a typical incubation period of 7 days or so before infectees developed symptoms. For influenza, it was 1 or 2. But the onset of the Uwa virus happened in mere 12 hours. Osawa viewed an image slideshow of the virus's propagation mechanism. It was a fascinating sight, no matter how many times he looked at it. Viruses existed to multiply, nothing more. They had no motives, no driving logic, nothing but simple multiplication. To Osawa, the fact that held a certain air of mystery. If viruses had emotions, how would they feel about their lives? He had thrown himself into virus research in search of answers to questions like that, answers that no man could truly know. His development of antiviral agent had really been nothing more than another job responsibility. He felt no particular sense of duty to protect people from a killer virus. He was just happy for the chance to play around with Uwa day after day. Another email arrived in his inbox. The ooh virus. You keep hearing the ooh virus. It's now the ooh virus. Another email arrived in his inbox. Osawa furrowed his brow as he scanned the message. Emergency alert. Come to Heaven Publishing ASAP. If not, someone is going to die. Minoru Minorikawa. Heaven Publishing. Minoru Minorikawa? Osawa wasn't familiar with either of those names. He wondered if it was related to the mysterious emails he received earlier, or maybe the sender had some information about the kidnapping. The fact that the message had been signed with a real name instead of a pseudonym along with its obvious urgency certainly gave it an air of truth. And the words, someone is going to die, filled him with a wave of panic. Maria! There was no time to waste. In a rush, he found directions to Heaven Publishing on his computer and then slipped out of the house. It took a good while to find his way to the multi-tenant building. The signs in front showed that Heaven Publishing occupied the 3rd and 4th floors. Osawa took the elevator to the 3rd floor. He peeked inside the offices there only to find the entire place empty. The 4th floor was likewise deserted. There was a rope dangling from the ceiling, tied off into a noose. It seemed rather sinister, but Osawa had no idea what it meant. He waited a good 30 minutes, anxious the whole time. The half hour turned to an hour, and then to 2. It seemed that no one was going to turn up. Osawa headed back to the 3rd floor. He decided to wait there for 1 more hour. But now he was committed. The extra hour turned into 2. Exhausted, he dozed off in his chair, and when he came to, it was close to sundown. Sunset already? He gazed out the window, the haze of sleep still clinging to his mind. He had the feeling he was forgetting something important, but the sight of the sun quietly setting over the cityscape made the crisis of life feel strangely distant. The time of peace and quiet he had longed for was right here. Okay, what did we do this time? Mysterious email told Osawa to go to Heaven Publishing, but there was nobody there. This email was sent by Minorikawa, of course, at around 11:30. He blasted the email to all reporters he knew, but in his hurry, he screwed up one of the addresses, which coincidentally delivered a copy of the message to Osawa. Obviously, this never would have happened if Minorikawa hadn't rushed out that email. What? I don't remember him ever making a fucking email. Bad Ed, you took too good of a nap. When the fuck did he make an email? Norikawa. Oh, he didn't make an email. That's why. We gotta keep out here. We can't access it. Okay, we gotta keep out here. Now, I'm pretty positive we didn't clear it. I think we have to do Adachi now, because that's the only thing we haven't done. All right. I said Adachi. His name's Achi. Keep out. That sign can't stop me because I can't read. So we have a kidnapping and a potential virus outbreak. Yeah, let's recap real quick. So we have kidnapping. Some guys committing a suicide. Potential virus outbreak. This lady cannot, she needs money for some reason. And then kidnapping. All right, let's go to Achi, see what's going on here. The man with the cane aimed his gun at Hitomi, his face devoid of emotion. Please, the girl said, trembling. Why are you doing this? But the man did not reply. Quickly, Achi stepped in between Hitomi and the gun, spreading his arms wide. Stop, he said in English, one of the few English words he knew. He quickly reverted back to Japanese. Who the hell are you? Still, the man did not respond. You know this guy, Hitomi? No. Achi was sure he'd never seen the man either. What are you after? Money? Because if you are, boy, are you wasting your time with us? The man furrowed his brow, adjusting his point to aim at Achi's face. His bloodthirsty gaze left Achi no doubt that he was willing to pull the trigger. Reflexively, Achi took a step back, his foot clattering against a discarded beer bottle. We're going to get gunned down for sure, unless we find a way to snatch the We're going to get gunned down for sure, unless we find some way to catch this guy off guard. It didn't need to be much. If Achi could just distract the gunman for a moment, buy himself the briefest window. Shoot me then. Go on, do it. He stepped forward as he shouted, hoping the provocation would confuse the guy for just long enough. Even as Achi moved, the gunman's attention was distracted for an instant by a sudden sound. The phone in his breast pocket was ringing. Seeing his chance, Achi I feel if we try to take the gun away, he's gonna shoot Hitomi. I think I'm gonna go for the beer bottle. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think we go for the beer bottle. Seeing his chance, Achi snatched up the beer bottle and swung it at the assassin. The man narrowly avoided being struck, but he staggered wildly off balance. Hitomi! Achi grabbed her by the hand and dashed out of the club. The two sprinted away through the side streets and alleys of Shibuya. Achi began to feel as if they were running some maddening maze. Before long, the two had made it almost as far as Aoyama. Wait up! Huh? Achi, wait up! Achi glanced back at Hitomi. My bad. I guess we've been running pretty hard. You tired? Hitomi shook her head. No, it's just, I have to get to Doganzaka. Doganzaka? What for? What could she possibly need to do there now? That's what I was told when I handed over the attaché case. The man leaned in to whisper to Hitomi as he reached out for the case. You're going to do exactly as I tell you. 2 things. He wore a cool, faint smile as if they were some casual conversation. First, you're going to go to Dogensaka and get in the blue van there. Hitomi nodded wordlessly. Second, you will not attempt to contact either the police or your family in the meantime. His chilling tone brooked no argument. Just two things, and we'll let your sister go. Hitomi nodded again. The man flashed her a big, bright grin. Okay then, give me the money. Why is it the have a go-to strategy sometimes I see in media? Nobody expects a glass bottle to an attack front. Have you actually like held like a proper glass bottle? A glass bottle is fucking heavy. Like they always like have the breakaway bottles on like TV shows and whatnot, but it's actually really hard to fucking do that. A blue van in Dogensaka, huh? Hachi muttered. So that's why you said the police were a no-go. Yes, exactly. Hitomi's voice betrayed her desperation. I wonder if your sister's in that van then. If she is, then we've got to hurry. The issue lay in how we get to Dogensaka. They could probably avoid the pursuer if they kept to the streets only the locals usually knew about. That meant staying off the more well-trafficked routes like Roppongi-dori or the stretch between Miyamasuzuka and the station. The side roads south of the station were their best bet. It was going to be a long detour. Alright, come on. Turning, Achi headed back the way they'd come. After a moment of confusion, Hitomi followed. Achi? So if a bottle breaks on someone's head, they have to put some force into that thing. If a bottle breaks against someone's head in real life, they're probably not getting back up. They're probably concussed, actually. There was a note of worry in her voice. Hey, don't sweat it. I actually live in Dogensaka. We're heading right back to my old neighborhood. Hitomi bowed her head. Thank you so much. Nah, it's no problem. I had to head home anyway. Achi gave her a grin and she cracked a tiny smile of her own. Hey, you two. You got a minute? Achi looked around. A pair of men approached from across the street. There was something shady looking about them. Achi's protective instincts kicked in and he stepped in front of Hitomi. If these guys meant trouble, he wanted to be ready. We just want to ask you something. The younger of the two men drew in closer, a sharp gleam in his eye. Achi braced himself. Ask us what? You know where the Nokane building is? The man held up a flyer. It was for some sort of health food sales demo. Come on, man, the Nokane building. You know where it is or not? Achi knew the name. Wasn't that the one building on the center guy? That was near Dogensaka, the same direction he was going. Okay, so we obviously cannot do this, otherwise Tama's route cannot continue, so. I don't like the thought of these two following Hitomi and me. Achi pointed them in the opposite direction from center guy. Pretty sure it's that way, he said. Thanks, man. Sorry to bug you. The two men headed off toward the main road. Average Yakuza enemies, yeah. They walk up. I don't like you. Achi and Hitomi hurried onward following the sparsely trafficked side streets toward Dogensaka. I don't think I even knew this was part of Shibuya. This part of Shibuya was here, Hitomi said as she looked around. Yeah, a lot of people don't. I used to mess around in this neighborhood when I was a kid. It's really pretty. The area was a mishmash of rundown residences and office buildings. Almost nobody ever comes here unless they live or work on one of these streets. And check it out. Over there is a rare first-hand glimpse of the Shibuya River. Have you always lived in Shibuya, Achi? Yep, born and raised. Achi bent down to pick up a piece of trash from the roadside. That's why I do this. It just pisses me off to see some folks make a mess of this place. He picked up another piece of trash. They walk up and it's just street thugs, Yakuza font. I can't remember Achi's last name. It just says Achi, aka Mean Clean. I don't have a job, so I just pick up garbage every day. Man, what am I even doing? Like a cleanup even matters right now. He told me took a long, hard look at his face. You think Achi hates Persona fans? Absolutely. What? He demanded. What is it? You're a strange one, Achi. That's so? She was right, of course. It was sort of strange collecting trash every day instead of getting a job. He had his reasons for it, but they weren't important right now. Right now, the important thing is getting Hitomi to Dogenzaka. Come on, he murmured. A sudden, angry shout broke the silence as they hurried along. Hey, hold her right there! Achi and Hitomi stopped them, but the shout was directed at them. Further up the road, a group of thuggish-looking men were having some kind of argument. The man who was shouting had grabbed one of the others by the neck. Idiots! And you still got the gall to call yourselves SOS? Studs of Shibuya. Wow, that's a bad name. A youth gang operating out of Shibuya founded by Achi Endo. Its current leader is Susumu Nishizawa. I mean, yeah, Sumasu, but... The other men standing around looked distinctly uncomfortable. It takes money to run an organization. No, I know, and since it's not like you're Achiru or nothing, I thought you could maybe spare some help on that front, boss. Tomi looked at Achi when a stranger spoke his name. He smiled awkwardly, then turned back to the altercation. Shut your mouth, Susumu barked. How dare you say Achi's name in my presence? Hey! Achi called out. What was that about me? As soon as they saw him, the other men went pale. Achi kept his tone casual as he strolled up to the group. Susumu, you can't just give the guy a beat down in broad daylight. They want to shock the upstanding people of our fair city. Achi, Susumu glared. Can we drop the pleasantries? My, Achi responded with a hint of a sneer. You got it, Sumasu. Susumu that's actually his name, Susumu. And I'd like to point out that we're not on a first name basis. With that, Susumu turned and stalked away. His buddies followed suit, leaving Achi and Hitomi alone again. Did you know that guy? Hitomi asked. His name's Susumu Nishizawa. And yeah, I know him, or I thought I did. Used to be friends way back. Me and those guys were all part of the same crew, but I bailed a little while ago. Achi fell silent. To his great relief, Hitomi didn't pry any further. Achi and Hitomi had gone a short distance further when he caught sight of a man picking something up alongside the train tracks. Huh, I wonder. Achi went over to him. Hey man, you picking up trash by any chance? Huh? The man let out a panicked shout. Oh. Taisei Yasuda, 35 years old, just opened up a knick-knack shop in Shibuya. Achi knows Shibuya like his own backyard, but this Yasuda guy is new enough that Achi doesn't recognize him. Sorry, it just kind of looked like that's what you were doing. Oh, yeah, I'm picking up trash, of course. The guy seemed pretty unnerved. Like, I just got to thinking, man, this place is filthy. Right on! Achi clasped the man's hand on his own. Someone else who gets it. They do? Totally! I see all this trash all over the place and I just can't stand it. Oh, yeah, sure. The man breathed a sigh of relief. I can't stand it when someone throws something away when it can still be useful. And I hear that. That's the spirit. Achi pulled out the trash he had stuffed in his pocket. Here you go. Huh? Go ahead, I'll have all of it. The man looked dumbfounded. Usually I go around picking up the trash around here, but I've got a little thing I gotta do today. You got it from here. I'm counting on you. Well, actually, I'm kind of Great, thanks. Achi beamed in approval, then rejoined Hitomi and headed down the street. The man let out a sigh. Fine. Slipping through a narrow back alley, they came out near the top of Doganzaka, excuse me. Achi looked down the hill, but didn't see a blue van anywhere. He and Hitomi started making their way down toward Shibuya Station. Hitomi muttered to herself, I don't see it parked around here. Her face twisted up with worry. It was a lot harder to find street parking closer to the station. Hitomi, hold up. Achi had a sudden idea. He darted into a nearby soba restaurant, motioning for Hitomi to follow. Heya, he called to the proprietress, a sharp-eyed middle-aged woman. You're looking as lovely as ever today, I see. Oh, Achi, are you done collecting trash for the day? The lady took a look at Hitomi, her eyes lightened up. Maki Yoenda. She was 19 when she was 19, she happened to stop by this place and was captivated by the chilled curry soba. By day's end, she decided to make the restaurant her new home, married the owner at age 22, and they managed the establishment together. Last year, her husband of 30 years passed away. Now she safeguards the generations-old secret of chilled curry soba on her own. Interesting story. Is this your girlfriend? Huh? Oh, no, it's nothing like that. The proprietress was undeterred. Oh, she looks just like a model. She's a spitting image of me at that age. My. Archie's got himself a girlfriend. I said it's not like that. The woman waved to Tommy over. Now you and Archie's got Archie's got a bit of a mouth on him, and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's a sweet boy. Okay. He told me forced a polite smile to her face. We'll try to deny it, but don't you listen. He told you about Suzune. Ma'am, please? Archie jumped in on the conversation. You gotta hear me out. Whatever's the matter? I'm just trying to talk up your good points. Have you seen a van parked around here? A van? Let me think. Yes, come to think of it, there was. A blue one, she added confidently. Hitomi leaned forward. Where is it now? She asked. Well, I'm not really sure. I don't keep a close eye on things outside after all. Hitomi slumped. I see. I know it doesn't look it, but I've been quite busy today. The man who makes my noodles came by earlier to settle accounts, and we fought over it. No head for finances, that one. That's his problem, honestly. And on top of that, of course, my part-timer Masa has to have today off. Honestly. She frowned. Had she really seen a blue van, or was she just being chatty? Older woman who ran the tobacco shop's noodle houses did seem to have a knack for spotting details. Women her age weren't always the most reliable. I mean, why would she lie about that? Archie decided to follow up some more. Was there anything unusual about this van? Well, let me think. The woman frowned, pausing for a moment of thought. Aha! A flash of recollection shone in her eye. That's right, now I remember. I think there was some foreigner sitting inside. Archie and Hitomi exchanged glances. Yes, I'm sure of it. The man who makes my noodles said he saw it too. Was there anything else? Hitomi asked. No, not that I can remember. Hitomi hung her head in frustration as they left the soba shop. Ashi did his best to cheer her up. Hey, we might still find that car. Let's try waiting around here for a while. Just waiting? What good will that do? It's possible that they went looking for you when you didn't show up, Achi said. Maybe they'll come back, you know? He sat down at the edge of the planter outside the restaurant. But the criminals already have the money, she said anxiously. Even Achi understood the implications. Now that the crooks had the ransom, their hostage was nothing but a liability. Why take the risk of letting her go when they already had what they wanted? The situation was bad, very bad. Still, just running around Shibuya willy-nilly was only going to tire and frustrate them. Achi wanted to make sure Hitomi had a chance for a little break. We don't have anywhere else to look, so let's just give it 10 minutes, okay? He said. Hitomi seemed unconvinced. She looked like she might just march off down Dogenzaka at any moment. I understand how you must feel, but you know what they say. Slow and steady, stay in place. Hitomi burst out laughing. Huh? What's so funny? It's slow and steady wins the race. Really? Hitomi smiled and sat down beside him. Alright, she said. We can wait here for 10 minutes. Cool. We ran enough races today already, right? Hitomi kept her eyes on the cars passing by through Dogenzaka for a while. Then she murmured softly to Achi. Thank you so much for everything. Really. You can thank me after we find this van. I'm sure if I'd been by myself, I'd have been in too much of a panic to do anything. No, what can I say? I try to keep my head up and face things as they come. You're quite the optimist, aren't you? Achi grinned. He tried to recall what optimist meant. He was pretty sure it had something to do with doctors, or maybe classes? The shy, sweet look on Hitomi's face as she said it, though, made him figure it probably wasn't a bad thing, whatever it was. Cars drifted one by one as they were not looking at the street at all. But they saw no sign of a blue van. After a while, even Achi began to grow impatient. This is starting to feel like a waste of time. And then... Tell me, look! There it was. Oh, okay. Well, shit. I did not mean to do that. Let's go back to Tama. Okay. No reason to change up now. Give me a second to get some new content. Okay, I think this is technically new. The door flies open suddenly and a loud voice belts out. Hold it right there! That's totally guy from Kamen Rider Double. That's the informant. You can't tell me that isn't. That's the same guy. I whirl around in a panic to see an odd-looking man standing in the doorway. It's Junichi Yanagishita. He's the guy who hired us. I'm pretty sure the guy had a gap in his teeth, so if he smiles and we see a gap in his teeth, it's the same guy. I heard that shitty. Don't you go calling my product junk? That's disrespectful. Shuri gave him an apologetic look. Oops, sorry about that. You should be. But whatever. If you really have doubts, then try it for yourself. Mr. Yanagishita pulls out a bottle of burning hammer from his pocket. At first glance, it looks like some kind of energy supplement, but the cheapo label gives it an immediate impression of sketchiness. Go on, says Yanagishita. Give it a go. Chiro reaches out to take it. But no sooner does she grab the bottle than Mr. Yanagishita shout out once more. Yeah, that's the same guy. Wait, hold on. What? Chidi squawks. What gives? Where's Santa-chan? I don't know. You two, you're both good. Stomach-wise? Stomach-wise? Yeah, drinking this stuff on an empty stomach can cause some pretty nasty problems, so just make sure you eat or drink something beforehand. Doesn't matter what, really. Wait, nasty problems? Yeah. Such as what? I ask. I'd rather not say. Nobody would buy it otherwise. Seriously? It's all good. I just had lunch, Chiri says. He flashes a carefree smile. Well, I haven't eaten yet. But on the other hand, I've been guzzling as much iced tea as I can fill myself up. It's probably safe for me to try this stuff. Do not drink the shit. Don't drink it. No, I better not drink this stuff. It's not even particularly appetizing. Cheery twists off the cap. Bottoms up, she declares, and proceeds to noisily gulp her bottle down. Doesn't even seem like she minds it. Maybe it's actually pretty tasty after all. Huh? Aren't you gonna have some too? Mr. Yanagashita flashes me a look. I guess I might as well try just a little bit. I stick the bottle of burning hammer into my mascot head mouth. It has an unexpected smell, like curry. Getting my lips around the mouth of the bottle, I gulp down the liquid inside. Huh? It doesn't taste like anything. A handful of seconds go by. What the f- It feels like a firecracker just exploded in my mouth. Now it's spicy. Way too spicy. It's like I just swallowed chili pepper coated in curry powder. Before I know it, I'm sweating bullets. Well, you sweating, Mr. Yanagashita asks. Like a whole lot? You are, aren't you? Why does he sound happy about that? That's right. It's the magic of Burning Hammer at work. Cheery and I are at a loss for words. Burning Hammer. Drink all you want and burn those pounds away. How's that sound? Good, huh? This is just so stupid spicy it makes you sweat, Cheery blurts out. Blunt and to the point, I approve. Yeah? Well, I guess you're right, Yanagashita says. The man just made us fucking drink a bottle of ghost pepper hot sauce. He hangs his head. What is in this stuff, I ask. I can still feel my tongue tingling. Like my body is almost too numb to move. I'm so shocked I even forget to get properly angry. So it's this health food product that got imported from America a few years back, Yanagashita explains. But the import agency went out of business not long after and I couldn't move the merch. So I bought up the whole lot, everything they had in their storehouse, spent all the money I had on it. Cheery arches an eyebrow. How much did it cost you, she asks. 1 million yen for 300 bottles. I can scarcely believe my ears. Can someone do the conversion for me? 300 bottles at 1 million yen for the lot? That's roughly 3,333 yen a piece. Each one of these teensy little bottles costs over 300 yen? 3,000 yen? You got ripped off, man, Cheery says. Yeah, you really think so? Huh. Yeah, you're probably right. He hangs his head even more despondently. This is the sort of thing they sell in 100 yen shops or something. Ouch, Cheery. Moving in for the kill. 100 yen shops? Really? Mr. Yanagashita lets out the heaviest of sighs. I'm starting to feel pretty bad for the guy, actually. Don't let it get you down, sir, I say, hoping to confront him. But Mr. Yanagashita just lets out a sob-choked sigh. Oh, that was it. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. It's the scratch cards that were in 4-star general gossip. That's where the problem is. And what is the problem? If you shine a light on the cards from behind, you can see where all the winning symbols are. Whoa. I messed things up dealing with the printing company. All of this, he gestured vaguely. It's my fault, my responsibility. He proceeded to explain the situation in detail. Word was quick to leak on the internet that there was a way to find the winning symbols, and suddenly thousands of cardholders turned up en masse to collect. Heaven Publishing was hit with a massive financial liability, and the employees rushed to flee a sinking ship. Before Toyama realized, he was the only one left at the company, and he was up against the deadline for next month's 4-star general gossip. If I had to drop next month's issue, I'll be stuck in debt even deeper. This is what bankruptcy is for. Just file for bankruptcy. And if that happens, I'm finished. Toyama gave a dismal groan. So don't drop the issue, Norikawa snapped. He pounded his fist right into the side of a cardboard box, but Toyama just shook his head weakly. I've been up for 3 days straight trying to fill the pages. It's not enough. I can't do the impossible. He dropped his gaze to the floor. Countless scratch cards lay scattered about. They'd probably been amidst the pile that had fallen out of the desk earlier. Each card showed a neat row of 5 wind symbols. You can't know if it's impossible if you don't see it through. I'll never make it in time. The proof needs to be done by 8 o'clock this evening. Well then, Minorukawa thought to himself. He let out a sigh and then held his hand out to Hana. Hana, would you mind giving me that hose? Hana gave her father a quick look, then handed the rubber hose to Minorukawa. This won't be necessary. He tossed the rubber hose into the trash, then jabbed his finger at Toyama. Show me the layout and the draft proposal for the next month's issue. Toyama blinked his eyes a few times in disbelief. Huh? You can't possibly be serious. I'm trying out. Now show me the layout and the proposal before I change my mind. After a brief incredulous pause, Toyama hurried off to grab the paperwork. A layout in publishing speak is an outline of a magazine showing which articles will occupy which pages. Minorukawa gave it a quick once-over, finding that 12 of the pages were still blank and untouched. He wanted to punch whatever writers had been assigned those pages. See what I mean? Toyama said. Hopeless. He sounded perversely proud of his failure. Getting enough material to fill 12 pages by 8 o'clock. Yeah, it was definitely a tall order, alright. Says who? Minorukawa replied. Remember who you're talking to here. Do you seriously think you can do it? You're joking, right? Minorukawa shot back. I seriously know I can do it. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than a bad joke. Why are you doing this for me? Toyama was getting misty-eyed. No, I'm not doing this for you, you spineless wimp. I'm doing this for poor little Hana. Minorukawa, I'm so sorry. Toyama bowed his head so deeply Minorukawa thought he might put his face through the floor. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your daughter. Oh, forgive me. Please forgive me, Hana. Toyama clutched her tightly in his arms. The girl hugged him back on the verge of tears. Hey now, enough of the waterworks. I've got your backs. Don't you worry about a thing. Minorukawa picked up the draft proposal for the pages that needed filling. The words Shibuya Scuttlebutt Special were plastered across the cover sheet in big, bold type. Okay, so a 12-page special edition block on Shibuya. Fair enough. And the first on the docket, make yourself a thin, burning hammer. This reeked of a scam. The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight is if it were mixed with a laxative, probably. Still, that wasn't enough time to tweak the layout for plan now. According to the proposal write-up, a product demo was scheduled for 1 p.m. that day. The location printed on the map was blurry and hard to make out, but Minorukawa had a rough idea where it was. Looked like he didn't have much of a choice but to swing by in hopes of getting more material. He scanned further along in the proposal. Society of Surveillance, hidden cameras installed through Shibuya. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Where are they now? Washed up screenwriter showcase. Sexy Squared, twin shared top prize at local university beauty contest. Shibuya Now. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Shadowy foreign crime syndicate exposed. Those 7 pieces were to fill the 12 empty pages. That was the plan at any rate, but there wasn't enough material there to make any headway. The Shibuya Now article didn't even have a proposed content. This sucked hardcore. It didn't look like there was much material for the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad either. The note suggested that a few years prior, a group of youngsters in Shibuya had banded together to help fight crime in their neighborhoods. At this point, however, oh, I see. That's Achi in his gang. At this point, however, things had flipped around completely, and they'd become a gang of street punks themselves. A turn to the dark side. They had the makings for an interesting article to be sure, but tracking down this gang would take time. Minorukawa was personally intrigued by the one about organ organ harvesting in Shibuya. The rumor was that the organs were being smuggled out of Southeast Asia and fenced locally at a tremendous price. There was even a plan to ascertain the authenticity of these claims. Fascinating. If Minorikawa was going to be spending all day gathering other material, though, he didn't have much time to spare for it. Shibuya Now, the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad, black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Is the black market organ trafficking the same thing that's going on with the kidnapping? Minorikawa decided that one of these three would have to go. He thought about it long and hard as he stared at the draft proposal. There was a good chance he really screwed himself over if he picked the wrong one. Finally, he decided to cut. Well, surely you cut Shibuya Now. There's not even anything proposed. There's not even anything to propose there. He didn't have time to make up an article out of whole cloth. His goal was just to make sure that the 4-star general gossip made it to press at all. Society of Surveillance, where are they now? Sexy squared. Those three pieces had individuals slated for interviews, but no appointments had been made with any of them. Unscheduled interviews were a dicey prospect. Norikawa decided to call them on his cell and made his way down the list. The only one who managed to get a hold of was Shinosuke Orai from Where Are They Now piece. Former broadcast writer, he appeared on various popular variety shows on commercial networks on TV. He's currently head up a small theater troupe known as the Wandering Angels, operating out of Shibuya. Later today, the troupe is putting on a performance at Theater Ace in Sakura Gaokacho. He said he'd be willing to give a 15-minute interview after 2:30. Minorikawa sighed. He just had to get material for the others in more impromptu fashion then. Putting his nose to the grindstone, he started throwing together a schedule for the day. Is it possible to get all the material and write it all up and still finish the whole thing by 8 o'clock? It was no use. No matter how he tweaked it, none of the simulations ended with him having a proof ready on time. He just needed one more thing, and that was another writer. Minorikawa zoomed through his contacts list, calling up all the freelancers he knew. The results were just pressing answering machines. Overseas on business, in the hospital, currently doing time. Before long, he called everyone he could think of except for one, novice freelancer Chiaki Iso. Chiaki was a bit of an odd duck, a reporter who was scared of talking to people. Minorikawa had never known anyone who became so hopelessly flustered in a one-on-one meeting. If she couldn't talk to people, she certainly couldn't do interviews, and if she couldn't get any real interview content, she wouldn't be able to write so much in the way of a copy. Would she come to his aid if asked? Quite probably. The issue was whether she would hinder more than help. Well, call her up. The phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered. Hello? Chiaki, hi, it's Minorikawa. Are you free today? Huh? What? She seemed thrown by the abrupt question. Did you just wake up? Huh? No, well, yeah. Good morning. Her voice still sounded half asleep. So then I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual. Pretty much. No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep. If I'm not awake, I can't dwell on how hungry I am. She didn't sound well, almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat. Well, I've got work for you. I'm over at 4-Star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP. What? You really mean it? That seemed to finally wake her up. Yeah, better hurry. Norikawa decided he assigned Chiaki the rise and fall of Shibuya Vigilante Squad. First, I want you to take a look around Shibuya for this group of vigilante types. By vigilantes, you mean people who have volunteered to help prevent crime? There's a note of relief in Chiaki's voice. Yeah, that's right. Except apparently now they've turned into a nasty street gang. Did you say street gang? Nuh-uh. No way. Absolutely not. Minorikawa could almost see her shaking her head on the other end of the line. What if I get killed or sold into slavery overseas or something? He doubted there was much of a chance of the latter or the former, for that matter, but still, he understood her concern. Alright, I hear you, he said. Then how about you go hang around Shibuya Station and do some street interviews for me? Street interviews? There was a nervous waver in Chiaki's voice now. Yeah, just talk to normal, regular people walking around outside the train station. That should be fine, yeah? But Mr. Mino, street interviews aren't really my, Apparently, it was beyond her capacity to give him a simple no. No buts. Just interview at least 10 people and give me an article by 6 o'clock. Okay. Norikawa had originally planned to axe the Shibuya Now piece because it didn't have any content, but getting some quotes from people on the street would at least make for useful filler. They gave him a sudden idea. He'd take on the vigilante story himself and have Chiaki handle Shibuya Now. That was plenty of work to keep two people occupied throughout the day. Hello, Life. This game was made by Spike Chunsoft, so if you like Spike, if you're enjoying your time with Danganronpa, here we are. The more time-consuming organ market story would have to be cut. After explaining what kind of interviews he was after, Norikawa hung up. Okay, I've gotten us another writer. We'll get through Toyama somehow. Toyama shrugged gloomily. Yeah, well, the thing is, there's actually one more problem. Are you kidding me? Norikawa couldn't hide the irritation in his voice. What is it now? The loan company is sending a debt collector over at 4 o'clock, but as you can imagine, I don't have a single yen to give them. That's less than ideal, yeah. So what's the plan? Well, they said provisionally that if next month's issue gets published, they'll be willing to wait on repayment. Then there's no problem. The issue's coming out, guaranteed. But they're not going to take my word on that anymore. I'm going to need to prove it. We could fill, say, half of the 12 pages by the time they show up. I could probably convince them. Alright, Morikawa sighed wearily. Okay, let me try that again. Alright, Morikawa sighed wearily. So for starters, we need 6 pages by 4 o'clock, right? They had to get all 12 pages done as it was. That made a perfect midpoint to shoot for. Any other problems you'd like me to know about? No, Toyama said. No, that's all. I really am sorry about this, Minorikawa. Again, he bowed his head low. Minorikawa felt distinctly awkward. He had known Toyama for years and had never been kowtowed to like this before. Yeah, well, just let me handle it, alright? Minorikawa unfolded a map of Shibuya. The first order of business was deciding where to begin getting content. He marked the editing office with a circle, then considered where to head next. Diet drink sales demo? Where are they now? Society of Surveillance. Hexy Squared. Shibuya Vigilantes. The diet drink sales demo was at 1 o'clock, and the interview with Shinosuke Odai, Where Are They Now, was slated for 2:30, so those times were set. The question was what to do in the interim. It's a little early, but maybe we should go to Center Guy and get an interview at the diet drink sales demo. It was a bit of a hike, but maybe we should go to Doke and Zaka and check out the Indo Electronics. Chat, what do you think we should do? Should we go to the drinks thing early, or should we go check out something else entirely? It's 11, it's not slated till 1. You think we should go to the drink place? What is more sensible? Well, like I said, it's 11. It's probably like 11:30 at this juncture in the story. So going, and he said those times were set. So I don't know if we're gonna miss it if we try to go back. Or if we don't need to go back, rather. So I'm gonna try to go for something else. Let's go to Doganzaka. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else stupid while I'm gone. Got it? Minorikawa hustled out of the editing office, hoping Toyama would take his admonition to heart. Exiting the building, he hopped into the taxi that was waiting outside. Thanks for waiting. Can you give me the Dogansaka ASAP? Son of a bitch. Minorikawa bristled. I beg your pardon? That son of a bitch you wanted to give a piece of your mind, sir. Was he waiting for you like you expected? Oh, yeah. And I damn well gave him a piece of my mind, too. Glad to hear it, sir. The taxi sped off. Norikawa pulled out the proposal and looked it over again. The idea for the surveillance story revolved around the claim that hidden cameras had been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts, upwards of 500 of them. Supposedly, these had eliminated lots of blind spots and the crime rate in the area had dropped significantly. The cameras were managed by Daisuke Endo, the owner of Endo Electronics and chairman of the local downtown committee. That was Minorikawa's first mission then. He needed to get this guy's story. Scanning the side of the road, Minorikawa finally spotted a rundown electronics shop. The sign up front, which looked like it might fall off at any moment, read, Endo Electronics. Right here's fine. Taxi stopped and Minorikawa pulled out a 10,000 yen bill from his wallet. Keep the change. What? Look, don't sweat it. The name is Minoru Minorikawa and I'm a freelance writer. I care about two things, what's real and what's true. There's real worth to what you've done for me. There's a token of my appreciation. It's not much, but please take it. Minorikawa slid out of the taxi and headed for the electronics store. Inside, Endo Electronics looked more like a mountain of hoarded junk than actual business. Towering piles of ancient appliances stretched toward the ceiling. Old television sets with dial knobs leaned against the computers with 5-inch floppy drives. What possible use could there be to all this outdated stuff? Chad, do you guys even know what floppy drives look like? Because the generation of floppy drives ended with me, so some of you guys might not even know what that looks like. You do? Well, you're the same age as me. Weez, do you know what a floppy drive is? Weez is dead. He got sent to the Shadow Realm. Mr. Endo, are you in here? Minorikawa called out. Got like a little hole in them. Yeah, you're dead. Sorry. Do you know what a floppy drive is? Is that the thing they used to play Doom? I mean, that's not technically wrong, but everything plays Doom. You can play Doom on a fucking refrigerator now. You want a pregnancy test? Nobody came to greet him. The shop was definitely open, though. Surely the proprietor hadn't left it unattended. Hey, Mr. Endo! Come on, I know you're in there! After a short wait, Minorikawa heard sounds from the living space behind the shop. The door opened to reveal a tired-looking middle-aged man. Yeah, what do you want? Are you Mr. Endo? Minorikawa asked. I am, the man said guardedly. And I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of something at the moment. Could you come back tomorrow, or please just give me a minute? I'm a freelance writer. My name is Minorikawa. Minokawa showed Endo his business card. I'm writing an article for 4-Star General Gossip. Magazine piece, huh? Precisely so. Precisely. So if I can get you just have a little bit moment of your time today. Isn't a floppy disk just an old school hard drive? I mean, USB stick? It's a CD, technically. It's a very old CD. And what's very funny is that it doesn't hold a lot of data at all, and like old movies had the entire world hinging on that fucking floppy drive. The phone rang, cutting off before he could get down to business. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me for a moment. Endo reached into the clutter and pulled out a telephone. I thought the data for floppy disk was about 4 megabytes. That's not a lot of data. If that's correct, that's not a lot of data. I could literally make a drawing right now of a stick figure and it would be more than 4 megabytes. Hello, Endo Electronics. The proprietor listened for a moment, then raised an eyebrow. Yeah, that's a problem, all right. All right, understood. I'll try to get you a hold of the customer then. Endo set the receiver back down. What was that all about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, yesterday I sold a dry ice machine and the manufacturer just called to let me know that the model's defective. Defective? Apparently, once it starts making dry ice, it won't stop. I need to tell the customer that I have to recall the machine and refund their deposit. Please give me a moment. Endo sifted through some sales slips, read a number off one, and made a phone call. Oh no, it's even worse. It's half. Wow. It can only hold 2 megabytes. That's crazy. Nobody picked up on the other end, however. That's right, he grumbled to himself. He said that he had some performance today. Performance? Minorikawa asked. I sold it to the guy from some theater troupe. They're called the Wandering Angels or something. Wandering Angels? That was Shinosuke Odai's theater troupe. Minorikawa had an interview with him booked for 2:30. Anyhow, what can I do you for? Minorikawa hastily explained what he was after, and Endo gave him a dubious look. As I said earlier, I'm a bit busy right now. Busy cleaning, I hope. How do you get anything done in this mess? Why, are you this rude to all your interview subjects? 5 minutes! Just give me 5 minutes of your time, please. You've gotta be joking. Go on, get the hell out of here. Endo headed for his back room in a huff. Fine, I'll just have to write about what you've already told me, namely that Endo Electronics sells defective merchandise. Huh? Just what are you implying? Did you or did you not sell that theater troupe a defective piece of equipment? Look, I'm just trying to get in touch with them as soon as I'm betting they're in a hurry preparing for their performance. I doubt you'll be getting through to them today. Endo bit his lip. Now that I have your attention, Minorikawa said, let's make a deal. What kind of deal? I'm meeting with the member of the Wandering Angels a little later today. I can let them know about the dry ice machine for you. In exchange, all you have to do is give me my interview. Endo scowled. And where's your proof that you'll be meeting with the Wandering Angels? I might take advantage of a guy when he's down, Minoru replied, but one thing's for sure, I'm not a liar. The shopkeeper took a few moments to think about it. Fine, he grumbled. 5 minutes, that's all you get. Minorikawa whipped his notepad out of his coat like he was drawing a gun. Then let's get down to it, shall we? Go right ahead. So I hear that over 500 surveillance cameras have been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts. Yes, that's right. Why so many? Used to have a lot of delinquents in this town. Endo said the word with marked distaste. Oh yeah. I remember there being some problem kids around. They were real punks. They vandalized my signs, made a mess of my storehouse. It was just awful. I see. Minorikawa scribbled diligently in his notepad. Heck, my own son put together a sort of vigilante squad to help teach those punks a lesson. Oh, this is Ashi's father! So they have different sizes on how much they hold, and I'm just going to give you the comparison number. They either go to 700 trillion kilobytes or 2.8 megabytes. So about 3 megabytes or 720 kilobytes, which is much smaller than megabytes. That's crazy. Wait. Vigilante squad? Whoa, hold up there for a sec. Norikawa jetted out his hand for an interruption. This guy's son was part of the Vigilante squad? What a stroke of luck. Maybe you could also provide some info for the article of the gangs in the Shibuya. Sorry, I don't mean to get too far off topic here, but could you tell me the name of this group your son belongs to? They call themselves SOS. Prided themselves on being the top gang in Shibuya and all that. The top gang in Shibuya? Did I really just hit the jackpot right here? Not to pat myself on the back, but go me. All I have to do is step outside and the story finds me. I think I might be a natural at this. Dizzy's home. Dizzy! What? Oh, right. Give me 1 second, chat. All right. I think I just might be a natural at this. As it happens, I'd also like to interview people from SOS. Would you be able to put me in touch with your son? Yeah, sure. But you should know that my son isn't in the gang anymore. There we go. We're starting to make some progress. It told me, look. There it was. 12 bricks. A blue van appeared nearby, parked in a spot that had been empty previously. Archie couldn't see who was inside, but there was definitely something fishy about it. Besides, there weren't any other blue cars around, so this had to be it. He'd been right. The crooks had come back after all. I'm gonna go take a quick look, Hachi said. You wait here. But before he could carry out his plan, Hitomi jumped to her feet. Without a word, she rushed toward the van. Hold on, I said wait! She wasn't slowing down. She caught a hold of her arm. Wait! This could be dangerous. What if the kidnappers are in there? And what if my sister's in there? I have to go help her! She knew full well what it was like to be impulsive, but this was one situation where cooler heads would have to prevail. We can't just hang out here. We can't just hang out here, she insisted. What if the car takes off again? And that's why I said I was gonna go take a look first. But isn't that dangerous? What if they do something to my sister because some random guy comes snooping around? Oh, yeah, you got a point. Archie thought as fast as he could. The criminal told me to get into the van. There had to be some specific reason for that. What if they were planning to abduct her as well? Whatever the case, he couldn't just let her go. He had to make a snap decision. Look, just let me go first. I don't want to put you at any risk. Okay, let's go together. Does that work for you? Let's go together. Does that work for you? Actually facing the camera like he's the cover of a DMC5 song. It's true. It's true. He does it. Bury the light deep within. You have no idea who we might run into. Hitomi gave a slight nod. All right, she said. But let me go first and follow you. But let me go first and you follow, okay? Got it, Archie replied. Archie waited as Hitomi started walking and followed her at a distance so it wouldn't look like they were together. She headed straight for the van. Two men got out of the car, neither of them Japanese. Archie picked up his pace in case he needed to close the distance fast. One of the men approached Hitomi and said something to her. She gave an affirmation nod. Suddenly, the two men grabbed her from either side. They dragged her into the van and shoved her into the back seat. Archie broke into a sprint. Of course it was a trap. He couldn't guess what their whole plan was, but kidnapping Hitomi was obviously part of it. Before we could reach the vehicle, the door slid shut. The van sped off an instant later. Archie raced after it. He ran as hard as he could, thinking of nothing else. He couldn't give up now, but couldn't let things end like this. He made a promise. No quitting halfway, and no turning his back on someone in trouble. but the car kept getting further and further away. Before long, it was just a blue speck that vanished into the cityscape. No! Nachi never saw Hitomi again. Yeah, so that's not what I told you to do. If you guys notice, I said let's go together, and they specifically did not do that. Yeah. That's literally not what I wanted to happen at all. That's I mentioned this when I was playing what was it? Fate, but bad ends for the sake of bad ends are kind of annoying. Hitomi's determination wavered at the look in Nachi's eyes. Please, he continued. We have no idea who or what we might run into. If I think they're gonna try to run off again, I'll give some kind of signal. Then you come along, and I doubt they'll be interested in leaving then. Hitomi gave a reluctant nod. Please be careful. Will do. And tell me if my sister is in there? I will. You can count on it. Nachi stepped out into the open and started walking toward the van. He tried his best to look as if he wasn't paying any attention. Yep, I'm just an ordinary passerby. As he got nearer, he tried to sneak a glimpse up inside. The van's dark window film made it hard to see who might be inside or even how many people. Casually, he moved closer to get a better look. Suddenly, the sliding door burst open and several people jumped out. None of them were Japanese. Within moments, Ashi was surrounded. Whoa, what? Hey, what's the deal? Ashi said. He let out a little chuckle. Man, that thing must be packed. How many seats you got in that thing anyway? He took another step toward the vehicle and looked inside. One of them pulled a knife from inside of his jacket, thrusting it at Achi's direction. He probably meant it as a simple threat, but on reflex, Achi went into self-defense mode, kicking him right in the jaw. There was a loud crack at his foot as his foot connected. The man dropped out like a light. The other stared, then rushed him. Well, this sure hadn't gone as planned. Too late to take it back now. The damage was done. Achi was just going to have to take out the rest of these punks too. He nimbly shifted his feet, evading their initial attack. Having to take these guys on 3-1 wasn't going to be pretty. Achi! He heard Hitomi cry out. Crap. He hadn't given any signal, but she had come out of hiding anyway. Hitomi, stay back! How was he supposed to fight off 3 guys and protect her at the same time? What could he do? What should he do? Within moments, a number of passersby have gathered around the fight. Maybe they heard Hitomi shouting. Hey, what's going on? Oh my god, is that a knife? This isn't just some petty squabble. Someone call the police. Some of them began taking photos with their cell phones. Hit him with the Joseph Joestar special. Just start running. Fuck off. I'm out of here. Out of the men, one of the men cursed in frustration, then signaled for his buddies to get back into the car. She couldn't stop them. The engine roared to life and the van sped away. Knowing he'd never catch them on foot, Ashi merely watched it go. He'd failed. This was his fault. All of it. Hey, listen, the alternative is she gets kidnapped, so he doesn't know that, he can't ever know that, but like, I'm just saying, bro. Achi bit his lip hard. How could he possibly face Hitomi now? Achi. Hitomi's voice was hollow, empty. Achi stared down at his feet like a scolded child. I'm sorry. I didn't see whether your sister was in there or not. I see. Those words, so simple and matter of fact, stung him to the heart. So sorry. But Hitomi simply shook her head. The fact that she wasn't even chewing him out made him feel all the worse. I know I messed up, but He was going to say, I'll make up for it, somehow, but he froze with fear at what he saw next. Across the street, staring at them, was the man with the cane. Hitomi, it's him! He had to get out of here. He grabbed Hitomi by the hand and bolted down Dogenzaka. The assassin followed, staying on his side of the road. Ashi wasn't sure what to do. Should they try heading into the alleys and side streets again? No, it was more dangerous to head someplace where there'd be fewer witnesses. Best to stick to Dogenzaka for now. The man wouldn't be able to get the gun down if they managed to lose themselves in the crowd for a long center guy first. Besides, the guy had to use a cane. Ashi Hitomi could outrun him. Wow, they're in front of the building, the 109 building. Hand in hand, they sped along Dogenzaka and through the intersection in front of the 109 building. Come on, Hitomi, just a little further. Okay. She was panting, but she pressed on. Ashi risked a glance back over his shoulder. Huh? He stopped in surprise. What's wrong? Hitomi asked. That guy, he's not following us. The slope leading down to the intersection wasn't all that steep. It was strange that the gunman hadn't bothered to pursue. Still, there was no time to worry about his behavior right now. Hitomi, can you still run? Yeah, I'm alright. Then this is our chance. This way. They needed to put plenty of distance behind them before the assassins came after them again, but they also needed to find the van again and rescue Hitomi's sister. Would they be able to find it and yet Would they be able to find it and yet stay hidden from the man with the cane? Achi wasn't sure one way or the other, but with Hitomi in tow, he hurried onward along Center Guy. There it is. Okay. So let's go back to Minorikawa. I'll be the roundabout. Oh, Minorikawa hesitated. Guess he's of no use to me then. Oh, believe me, I know how you feel. The look on Endo's face spoke volumes. There was no point in interviewing Endo's son if he wasn't in the gang anymore. He'd figured that Minorikawa's run of good luck would end eventually. Actually, can I go back to the... Can. Okay, neat. I can go back to the keyword, but I can't actually check out the son. Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can, yeah. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Still, he got a lead in the form of a name. SOS. That was progress. Alright, go back to the matter at hand. He flipped through his notepad back on the open. What did you decide to do about all these juvenile delinquents? I set up a tiny little web camera in order to protect my property. I see. And I'm guessing the webcam did the trick? Sure did. And so the other local businesses heard about it and started asking me to install some for them. Web cameras aren't particularly expensive, so it wasn't too tough for them to set it up all over downtown. So who's in charge of these security cameras? Members of the downtown business committee take turns. The cameras are connected via a wireless network that business owners can access throughout the area. How's your security for this wireless network? Oh, no problems on that front. Endo seemed surprised at the question. All of the footage is sent over the network is fully encrypted. But still, people can't feel too good about being recorded on camera without their knowledge, don't you think? Norikawa asked. The shopkeeper's expression darkened. We hope to strike a balance between crime prevention and protecting individual privacy. Uh-huh. And who's determined what that balance is? Norikawa let a note of challenge slip into his voice. That would be me. I've been entrusted with the management of security cameras. I wonder when all these stories are going to converge. Well, 2 of them already technically have, so... You think there's going to be like all of these characters all get together and finish the job, that kind of thing? I don't think so. I see. So essentially you're providing your own moral oversight. Are you implying that I'm abusing my authority? Endo shot back. I'm doing this in the name of the public order. I'm doing this in the name of public order. Right. You've had your 5 minutes. Now get out of here. The shopkeeper stood up and headed into the back. I'll be sure to let the wandering angels know about the dry ice machine. Minorikawa hollowed at a closing door. Endo didn't reply.
What the hell is this?
If that was the case, then what the fuck does Tama have anything to do with this? Yeah, that's true. Minorikawa had gotten enough of the story to put an article together, so he decided to hurry to a coffee shop and get started on some copy. He was making his way down along Doganzaka when his cell phone rang. The incoming call display showed Chiaki's name. Chiaki, what's going on? Oh, it's no use. She sounded like she was on the verge of tears. What's no use? I can't do this. I just can't talk to people passing by on the street. What? Why not? It's just that everyone seems so busy when they're walking past. If I try to interrupt them, they're gonna be all mad at me. Well, who the hell cares if they get mad? Minorikawa was ready to start ripping his hair out. I don't want them to be mad at me, she whimpered again. Well, this wasn't about what she wanted, was it? She was supposed to be working, not whining. Look, Chiaki, you need to get me those interviews, period. Do I need to make myself clear? He hung up before she could squeeze in an objection. Damn it, Minorikawa muttered. Just what I needed, one more thing to worry about. He pulled out his hair a few times, then cast his worried gaze in the direction of Shibuya Station. Alright. Alright, so now we're gonna go back to Osawa. Okay, give me 1 second. Alright, I saw the game save, so I think this is a new content. Osawa viewed an image slideshow of virus propagation mechanism. It was a fascinating sight no matter how many times he looked at it. Viruses existed to multiply, nothing more. They had no motives, no driving logic, nothing but simple multiplication. To Osawa, the fact held a certain air of mystery. If viruses had emotions, how would they feel about their lives? He had thrown himself into the virus research in search of answers to questions like that, answers that no man could truly know. His development of antiviral agent had really been nothing more than another job responsibility. He felt no particular sense of duty to protect people from a killer virus. He was just happy for a chance to play around with UA for a day after day. Another email arrived in his inbox. The sender, A. The subject line, 1 year ago, South Africa, again. Osawa read the message. Do not look away. These are your crimes. This time, there were 4 images attached. Osawa proceeded to open each of them in turn. The first shocked Osawa so much that he felt like he'd been punched in the head. One of the UA patients from the earlier images was being ejected with something. No, Osawa muttered to himself. It can't be. The second image showed one of the infected hunched over in pain, vomiting up blood. The symptoms had already manifested, but Osawa thought he could see that some degree of life had come back into the patient's eyes. He rushed to open the third image. It showed a morgue piled high with corpses. The rictus of anguish on the dead faces made them look no longer human. Various fluids seeped from the eyes and nostrils. The lymph nodes were grotesquely swollen. There were hospital beds stained with massive amounts of blood and gastric fluids. The next came the fourth and final image. More corpses. They had bandages affixed to their chests with various labels. 6 hours passed, 12 hours passed, and 18 hours passed. It looked as if someone had been attempting live trials with the antiviral agent. Osawa didn't consider the antiviral agent ready for release, but that was because his team hadn't conducted clinical trials on humans yet. And there was a good reason why such trials hadn't been conducted. There was no way to test the efficacy of the drug without an infected patient. To run a proper clinical test, someone would first need to be infected with the UA virus, or the UA virus. No matter how effective animal testing had been, if the drug proved ineffective on humans, that person would have a guaranteed death sentence. It was unthinkable to run trials that involved such a deadly risk. And yet, as he looked over the images again and again, Osawa became certain. Without his knowledge, someone, presumably someone from Okoshi Pharmaceutical, had conducted human testing with the antiviral agent. My guess is that it's the assistant that he just had. The time markers on the corpses in the fourth image were surely there to mark the time elapsed since the onset of symptoms. A thorough trial would test the drug's effectiveness in those time frames. Osawa slammed his fist on the desk and raged. This was nothing short of vile human experimentation in the guise of clinical testing. The people responsible could not be allowed to get away with this. There was only one person Osawa could trust to keep this under wraps, his boss, Makino. He reached for his phone to call Makino, but he stopped short as soon as he picked up the receiver. He knew he was in no state of mind to have a calm, reasoned conversation right now. Turning the CD player, he put on Aya Kamiki's latest album. Leaning back in his chair, he surrendered himself to her soothing tones. Bit by bit, he could feel himself returning to a calmer emotional state. There had been a time when Osawa hadn't listened to music at all. In fact, he had no interest in the arts in general. Music, painting, cinema. It was only due to a simple coincidence that he had found Aya Kamiki. His daughter had asked for a CD as a birthday present, so he swung by the store to pick one up. Since Kamiki's new album had just come out, there was a display for it in front of the shop. Something about the bright, colorful album packaging had drawn him in. After a time, Osawa could feel himself growing calmer. He took a nice deep breath. Then he dialed Makino? I don't really understand. Like, I know what the choice is, but I feel like one of those is just going to be like, and then he didn't care about anything. He took a nice deep breath, and then he dialed up Makino. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as soon as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Osawa said. Nothing much yet. Tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see. Then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using an antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. What makes you think that? He asked at last. Osawa described the emails he'd received. When he'd finished, Makino let out his breath in surprise. Not over the phone, he said. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it. Then, there had been human testing. Osawa went to let Tanaka know he'd be meeting with Makino. Mr. Osawa, are you going somewhere? A stolid-looking man stood in the hallway, almost as if he'd been waiting for Osawa to emerge. Who is Yoshio Kajiwara? A detective of the Shibuya Precinct's Criminal Investigations Division. He struck Osawa as a bit too soft-spoken and meek for a detective, really. And his treatment of the kidnapping case gave an impression of flighty detachment that made him seem rather undependable. Is this our main girl's dad? No, not really. Have there been any developments, Detective? Kajiroa shook his head quietly. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not really sure what to tell you. Kajiroa then slipped a hand into his suit jacket. He pulled out a banana. Are you hungry? These are good for when you're tired. I'm fine, thanks, Osawa said. Kajiroa seemed to lack a detective's sense of situational awareness. Just being around him got on Osawa's nerves. Well, sir, I need you to come with me, the detective said, if you don't mind. He took Osawa by the arm. As Kajiwara hurried him toward the living room, Osawa could hear the other detectives talking on the other side of the door. He's working at a time like this? Seriously? That sounds really good, Batra. Sheesh, I do not get rich people in their priorities. Yeah, I feel bad for his daughter. Her dad's a real piece of work. Nice, they're bad-mouthing him in his own house. Oh, I'm really sorry about that, Kajiwara said, pausing in embarrassment. Osawa pushed past him and opened the door. A number of police detectives had holed up in the living room. They went suddenly silent as Osawa entered. So tell me, he said sarcastically, would you rather I stay here weeping as I watch this disaster unfold? The detectives winced and grimaced. Forgive me for not being a perfect father, he added, his hostility building. Kajiwara stepped forward to intervene before things got out of hand. Now, let's not be touchy. I am not being touchy, Osawa snapped. He knew full well that he was. These guys had the time to sit around backbiting him. But not to go out and bring Maria to safety? Already close to half a day had gone by without any new developments. The ransom demand had come into the previous night at 8 o'clock. Maria had been abducted roughly an hour before. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. by Hachiko in Shibuya. Have the sister who told me bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. The kidnapper called only once, so the police were unable to run a trace. I'll do it, Hitomi said. Anything for my sister. She didn't hesitate in the slightest at suggesting that she make the ransom handoff. Osawa was staunchly opposed to the idea, but the police were of the opinion that it was better to acquiesce to the kidnapper's demands. That's not acquiesce. You know what? Y'all see it. Ai's reaction, on the other hand, baffled nearly everyone. We don't have 50 million just lying around. The police gonna be putting that together for us? Kojiro stepped in to reassure her. If it comes down to it, the police will be able to help raise the money. Okay, go ahead, then do it. We need you to pay it back afterwards, of course. What the fuck? What the fuck was what the hell? I need to know if that's how that works in real life. If a kidnapping happens and they require a ransom and the police pays the ransom, do they charge you? That's fucking insane if that's the case. His voice spiked with a piercing shriek. Calm down, Osawa told her. You're making a scene. I turned away in a huff. It's alright, Detective, Osawa continued. I'll talk to the bank first thing tomorrow morning and figure something out. At that, I stormed out of the room. Kajiwara bowed his head several times in apology. As soon as Itomi has made contact, we'll apprehend the suspect and take things from there. What? Hold on, won't that put Maria in danger? If you let the kidnapper get away with the money, he has no proof that we have no proof that he will return the hostage safely afterwards. There is a certain logic there, so I had to concede. I see, he said. So you're saying that catching this guy will be easier for you if he keeps my daughter hostage? No, that's not what I was implying at all. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his brow and bowed profusely. At least, I promise we'll get your daughter back safe and sound, Mr. Osawa. Obviously, there was nothing to be gained from further challenging the detectives. Alright then, I'll let the police do their job. Osawa bowed even lower than Kajiwara had. How long are you just gonna loaf around? I shrieked as she stormed into the room. Hurry up and arrest this guy. She is becoming increasingly hysterical. An hour had passed since the suspect had taken the money, and yet the police had made no effort to apprehend him. The police apparently had a rule against discussing an operation before it was fully resolved, and so the Osawas had been left in the dark. They had overheard the task force talking over the wireless. It appeared that they were deliberately letting the suspect roam free. Hey, I snapped again. If he gets away with our money, you are going to reimburse us, right? Osawa scowled. She made it sound like the money was more important than Maria's life. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. I don't know what to do here. I think I would say nothing. I'm gonna go with the first one. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Only money? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how much we're talking about here? The ferocity in her voice left him with no response. He should have known better than to expect her to make sacrifices for his daughters. What? For her daughters? For his daughters? Okay. But now he was accustomed to ice coldness towards the two girls. The twins were Osawa's daughters from his first wife, who passed away 15 years ago. I had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi. That's still a... What the fuck? Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. Well, right now we're focused on making sure Maria is safe. I stormed up to him, shouting right in his face. Stop dodging the question! Answer me! Yes, of course, Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe, would you like something to eat to help you calm down? He held out a banana. I smacked it out of his hand. Oh dear, what a waste. Kajiwara scrambled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Osawa went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear. I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Osawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. He made eye contact, but Osawa quickly looked away and strode out of the living room. Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Osawa? Yes, what is it? The detective fussed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate if you could remain in the living room as much as possible. Osawa was in no mood to stand on propriety. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. Are you here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father too? No, not at all. Personally, I'd happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Osawa. Admirable. Did the word have a ring of sarcasm? He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not. You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Osawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Osawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made very important strides in the field of virus research. Or, well, so I've been told. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who was more interested in viruses than he was in other people. Everyone who's a genius is also a little bit odd after all, Kajiwara went on. Probably he intended that as a compliment, but still. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with weirdos, so long as they leave us ordinary folks alone, you know? Is this guy trying to praise me or insult me? Osawa let out a heavy sigh. Genius? Weirdo? What did it even matter? So long as he could be left to his work, he didn't care one whit how he looked in other people's eyes. Kajiwara wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. By the way, what are you working on right now? He asked. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand even if I explained it to you, Osawa replied. Right, precisely. Even if I give it my full attention, it probably would still be beyond me. He peered with sudden intensity at Osawa's face. I'd appreciate if you didn't hide things from me, sir, he said. Osawa gaped, at a loss for words. Oh, I'm sorry, Kajiwara added hurriedly. Goodness, that made it sound like I'm accusing you of hiding something, didn't it? The detective bowed his head repeatedly. I hope you'll forgive me. He held out the banana. That won't be necessary. How about this then? This time he pulled out a chocolate bar from his pocket. No thank you. Did this guy just carry endless food supply wherever he went? Oh my, Kajiura murmured. You geniuses really are tough to sort out. He inclined his head, mumbling to himself for a moment. That's the second Doki Doki Literature Club reference today. What can I get for you then, sir? What I'd really like is some time by myself. In a daze of exasperation, Osawa felt his way to his study. Locking the door, he firmly let out a breath he'd been holding, and then his eyes alighted on the bookshelf against the wall. He pulled out a photo album and began to flip through it. There were pictures of his daughter's grade school enrollment ceremony. Their mother had already passed away from illness, so Osawa had taken the girls himself. He remembered that after the ceremony, Hitomi had come down with a fever. Hitomi had been rather sickly as a girl, on bedridden at the drop of a hat. Maria, by contrast, had been lively and energetic, quite the handful. Osawa had found it remarkable that their personalities could be so different despite them being twins. He flipped further into the album. There was a picture of the three of them at their grade school graduation. Maria was looking away from the camera. Osawa felt like someone had stabbed a dagger in his heart. His daughters? Their virology. Which truly concerned him more? Which did he truly love? It was ridiculous to try to compare the two. He had known the answer before he even asked himself. Even so, human emotions were complicated and sometimes made people act inconsistently. One of the consequences of that was this photo album. This was the last photo he had of Maria. He searched and searched throughout the rest of the album, but she was nowhere else to be found. Heavy. All right, all we have left is Tama. How you feeling so far? I'm fine. I'll try again. It'll be okay whether or not it helps you lose weight. It is spicy and does make you sweat. I'm not sure I follow, Cherry says. I don't think you're fine. Here's have some water. Thank you. Believe me, if I wasn't fine, I wouldn't keep playing. Where I was really talking, that's not entirely true. I've only been really talking for about 3 hours. Remember, we did have a break. How much you selling these bottles for, boss? 15,000 yen per bottle. What? Chew's jaw practically hit the floor. Mine does the same. No way. Nuh-uh. No freaking way. Calling the price point absurd wouldn't be doing it justice. Well, look, selling it at that price is my only option. I need to cover my costs. Anyway, please, I need you both to work your hardest. Apparently, he's committed to this insane course of action. Okay, Cherry replies. It's more like a sigh than a proper response, but I can't blame her. As for me, I can't even find the words. I'm so flabbergasted. I just sit there, don't speak up. I don't even find the words. I'm so flabbergasted. Hey, I try to murmur. Sorry, what was your name again? He interjects. Oh, right. I'm Tama. Why are you still wearing your costume? I stumble my way through an explanation. Wow, so then are you gonna do sales? Are you gonna do the sales demo like that? Well, if I can't take off the mascot costume and all, I don't have much of a choice, do I? No, that won't do at all. I hired you to be a model. If you're wearing that thing, then what's the point? I'm at a loss for words. The point is exactly what he's missing. It's not like I'm wearing this getup because I want to. How about we just cut it off? Yeah, Cherry says with a big grin. She pulls out a massive pair of scissors out of her bag. The blades make an unsettling snip snip sound as she waggles them in front of my face. Whoa, you can't do that. That suit's a rental. I don't want to have to reimburse them for that thing. Well, then what am I supposed to do? I ask. He looks at me uncertainly. Maybe you can have someone from the rental place come down, Chewie suggests, before helping herself to the rest of my lunch. Oh, hey, good idea, Yanagishita says. He seems to be making an effort to calm himself, to calm himself down at least. Just try to grin and bear it until then, Tama. Well, I guess there's that then. I'm sure we'll get off eventually, I say. Hopefully before the demo. That's the spirit. I really need you to be my model. A model, huh? It's flattering, but I can't help wonder would I be any good at that? Well, this is no time to be timid. I need that money no matter what. Why? My troubles all started earlier this morning. Oh, good. We get to find out why. So apparently the informant from Kamen Rider Double was in a movie called The Contestant, which is a movie about the actor going through this crazy challenge where he needs to buy himself a plane ticket home from nothing but call-in prizes from TV. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember who told me about it. I think it was Dizzy. But I think that was a movie based on like the weird torture shit that that Japanese TV shows do for as TV shows, as game shows rather. I think it was Dizzy that told me. Should we watch it? I don't want to. I do not want to. It was a knick-knack shop on Center Guy. I happened to pass by. Actually, let me go find Dizzy real quick. I want to tell him that. Yeah, that is exactly the reason why I don't want to watch that movie, because it was more or less torture. He could only get stuff from winning prizes, and that's, yeah, I don't want to watch that. That sounds fucked up. I'd happened to pass by and I spotted a red necklace on display in the storefront. And I got this weird sensation when I saw it. You could maybe call it deja vu, something like that. It was as if I'd been drawn to it somehow. This was mine. I was sure of it. I wanted it. No, I needed to make it mine. As soon as I possibly could. That's how strong the feeling was. The price is 40,000 yen. I checked my wallet repeatedly, but I only had 20,000 on me. Nonetheless, I needed to have it. There was just one question. How? Somehow I managed to drag myself away from the shop. Just a few minutes later, I ran into Mr. Yanagishita. Hey, a voice said out of nowhere. If you want, I could pay you 10,000 for a day's work. I found myself staring at this frumpy middle-aged man who was handing me his business card. Managing Director Junichi Yanagishita, Yamato Health Foods Co. Ltd. I'm in a real bind here, so I need the extra help. Yeah, that's definitely the informant. Would you mind coming with me? I'm begging you, just one day. He seemed pretty sketchy. As much as I needed money from the necklace, I wasn't going anywhere with some random weirdo. I ignored him and tried to just walk off. Please, please. Yanagishita grabbed me by the hand. Watch it, pal, I snapped. Hands off or I'll start shouting for help. Please, it's not like that. Just hear me out. I looked it up with the power of Google. Nice. Look, I'm in a hurry. Please, please. Knock it off. I spun forcefully away from him, yanking my hand from his grip. Oh! Yanagishita whirled through the air and fell into the bushes. Whoa, where'd that come from? He gasped. His eyes were wide as saucers. You're a martial artist or something? No, I think that was just a fluke. The truth was I was surprised myself at how well I pulled that escape move off. Oh, okay then. Look, I'm sorry. Can you give me a hand? No way. No, I mean, give me your hand. My hip's killing me here. Ah. I guess. The least I could do was help the guy get to his feet. Look, why are you hounding me so much? Please don't be angry. The moment I saw you, I just felt it. You're the one person who could possibly do this job for me. I let out a sigh, but my interest was admittedly piqued. What kind of job? I need a sales rep for a health supplement. I want you to do the PR as a dieting success story for my product. Just look at you. You have the body of an actress. Sales are going to go through the roof. It was hard to feel too offended when he told me that. The job didn't seem as fishy as I'd initially suspected. All right, maybe I'm interested, I said. There's just one thing. Yeah, whatever it is, I'm sure I can handle it. I need 20,000 yen as soon as possible. So if the day only pays 10,000, all right then, you can sell 100,000. If you can sell 100 bottles of our sales event, I'll throw in another 10,000 as a bonus. How's that sound? I certainly couldn't think of any other way. I was going to earn 20,000 yen in a single day. This might be exactly the break I needed. You got a deal. You have my services for the day, I said, bowing my head. Yes! Yanagashita jumped for joy. What about your hip? Huh? Oh, yeah, it's better now. All better. Just fixed itself just now. Yanagashita bowed deeply as I gave him a dubious look. Look, I'm sorry, he added hurriedly. Wasn't trying to pull a fast one on you, honest. I was just scouting for talent and I saw you and, well, was trusting this guy really the best idea? I was started to worry, just a little, about whether he'd actually pay up. I don't think he's going to pay him. Pay her. Look, I've staked everything on this sales demo later today, he went on. This is the make or break opportunity of a lifetime. Sure. I'll be honest with you, I'm in a ton of debt. 2 million yen. 2 million. Yanagashita's tone had taken a feverish intensity. If I don't pay up by the end of the day, then boy howdy am I up a creek without a paddle. How did you even get in a situation like that, I asked. He gazed skyward, a far-off look in his eyes. Because even if he knows he has no chance of winning, sometimes a man just has to stand and fight. I guess a girl like you wouldn't understand. He laughed and smiled at his own words, but he was right. I sure as heck didn't understand what the fuck he was saying in the slightest. Anyway, real quick, could you put this on? Mr. Yanagashita briskly rummaged through his bundle, then thrust the cat costume out toward me. What? Here? Yeah, before the sales event, you just gotta hand out some samples. Job already started, you know. And with that, Mr. Yanagashita went about getting me into the mascot suit. Looking back on it, it was pretty ridiculous turn of events. Still, if I was going to get my hands on the necklace, I just had to take the chance that the job would pay out. I doubt we're going to be able to sell a single bottle of this crap, Cheerio whispers in my ear. I'll just have to do the best I can, I say. I say more to myself than anyone else. Once again, I ask myself, why am I in such a rush to get this necklace anyway? I honestly don't know. It's the strangest thing. I try my hardest to think of a reason, but all I get is a dull aching throb at the back of my head. That's the second time she made a note of the. It's the same pain I felt earlier, as if I've gotten a good bonk on the head or something. Okay, that's everyone. I think. I'm pretty sure that's everyone. All right. Okay. Well, when we next pick up, we're going to be doing the noon time block. Let's see who we can raid out to. Yeah, that's just good. Let's just raid into links. All right. Oh, I think, chat, I might feel like watching another movie stream tomorrow. I don't know. Ask me again tomorrow. I might feel like watching another movie. So if you guys are up for it, just keep your notifications on. Oh, actually, you know what? It's almost 6 p.m. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't do it. Maybe I won't do it because it'd be too late for Louise. Anyway, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. Later.